I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to Highlights.
He's going to break his 6th world title.
Oh, he's done it! And look at these two go! Eoin's going to do it! His first victory!
The World Championship is done. What a race it's been!
Good evening, everybody. It's time to conclude the Formula SimRacing World Championship for the year 2025. It's round 10, and it's the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. I'm Eoin Harmon, and I'm absolutely delighted to have a very packed commentary box tonight. We've got Ed Hunter back from ProStream in the box, and David O'Reilly, who drove in that race. So let's begin with Ed. I'm sure you're still feeling the effects of that pro race, but how are you keeping otherwise?
As always, great to crown a champion. Of course, we got Mark Schluter sewed it up very beautifully a couple of rounds ago in Circuit of the Americas. So it's the team's championship, which is probably going to be the main focus, but also the battle for second between Patrick Hanko, who got his first win last time out, and Sander Callas from rFactor SimRacing. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see whether Hanko can just keep building his momentum, or whether Sander Callas can, as the Estonians want to do, pull a little rabbit out of the hat now and again and make something happen. It's a new track for the World Championship. Of course, we all saw the drama of the pro race, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see if the World Championship can match that or not. But it's a little bit of a step into the unknown for all these World Championship drivers, and I'm excited to see how they get on. And
David, how are you keeping?
Yeah, really good. I think it's a pretty idiosyncratic track, if I can use a big word. It's
you may.
It's pretty unusual. I mean, it's very low grip because here in rFactor 2 we can accurately model the impacts of the altitude. So the first big one is the lot less downforce, so the cars have a lot less grip, and the less than obvious thing is it's so easy to overheat the tyres, because if you push too hard, particularly in sector 3, you can really overheat the tyres and get into all sorts of bother. But the other thing that's happened, which I didn't know about till we did a bit of testing, was because the air's so thin, it also impacts the brake cooling. So the brakes are really prone to overheating here. So I think, Ed, did you say it, Ed? It's a bit of a step into the unknown, and it's going to sort out, in some ways, not just the driving talent, but who's got the engineering talent to work out the best way to set the car up to get the best out of this circuit. It's not my favourite track. It's not my favourite track to test on or drive on, but these guys are professionals and they've got to master what's thrown up in front of them. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get moving on to the qualifying session in just a few moments. 10 minutes in all to decide a pole sitter. And track temperature is absolutely baking there at 35 degrees Celsius. So yeah, it may be chilly outside here in the North Hemisphere, but Mexico City, it's not going to deliver any kind of winter frolics. It's all action in the sunshine. So yeah, let's build up to that qualifying session now in just a moment. After our championship standing, we'll reflect on this one more time with Mark Schluter, the all-conquering champion there. Absolutely sensational 5 wins and a further 3 second places to ensure the title was secured in Suzuka. Then Patrick Hanko in the CMT Go team as well managed to win in Suzuka, so that vaulted him up to second in the championship. But Sander Callas, P3, Mr. Consistent in terms of P4s, but not in terms of getting the podiums. He needs to figure out a way to get his second place back. But Janos Brashok as well, a man in form, P4, and Jeffrey Fournier in 5th. Of course, that incident at the Circuit of the Americas cost him a shot at the title, but he's still very much a contender here, guys, to try and fight back to at least finish 4th. I think it's very possible for him.
Yeah, certainly. I think Jeffrey also was a little bit hobbled by the fact that he knew quite early on he was going to have to miss Japan because the date didn't work out very well for him. But yeah, he won brilliantly at Singapore, and he had 3 other podiums earlier in the season, did Jeff. So him and Janos very evenly matched. I think they've scored the same number of podiums, 4 each. Although Janos yet to take that win, it's so frustrating for him. He's come close so many times this season, and you never know. Unsurprisingly, the Hungarian contingent was saying during the pro stream that they thought Janos Braksuk was going to take pole position. So I guess we'll find out in a few minutes' time. They even predicted what the pole time would be, 1 minute 14. Well, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, so many great drivers getting their final opportunity to show what they can do this season. So yeah, I'm very excited. I did love how David said it wasn't his favorite track to drive, which is sort of, I was the one who chose it, so I feel a bit, maybe I shouldn't have picked Mexico. But in the 1960s, Mexico, Autodromo Manos Rodriguez always used to be the final race of the season, and often it would be a title decider. So I thought it'd be very kind of a 60s throwback to put it as the final race of the season. Of course, it's a new track to FSR, so that has led to all sorts of work behind the scenes to get it ready for Run It for racing on. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful for all of that. And yeah, looking forward to qualifying, which I believe, Eoin, we're in the middle of right now.
Yeah, cars are on circuit right now, so we'll get everyone's out laps organised. So yeah, private qualifying session, making sure there's no outside interference or other bits of teamwork or anything like that. And there we go. We can see the instant switch between Schluter there. So he'll be preparing his car to make sure he can find his journey to one more race victory at least, just to make sure he's absolutely undisputed champion. I know he already is, but it just puts the exclamation point on the season, one of the very best in FSR. I would say, I know I've only got this one season to my memory bank, but definitely to win nearly half the races, or exactly half as things stand, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think certainly he's come to the fore this season in a way that perhaps was unexpected from some quarters, but certainly we've been very, very grateful to have Mark Schluter in this championship. He proved himself in other rFactor 2 series as well, but in World Championship he had that one season in 2023, that rookie season where he didn't quite have the pace, and he took a while to sort of get to grips with it. But yeah, certainly with Go Team, they've welcomed him with open arms, and he has absolutely excelled given the opportunity. So Go Team has just seemed very, very strong this season across the board. In everything they race, they seem to get a win somewhere or other. So yeah, it is wonderful to see him doing well. And I think Mark Schluter, there is no debate, he is an absolutely deserving champion. Of course, it'd be lovely to have a load of our past champions come back in the future and see how they would measure up. We do have a few top drivers like Janos Braksuk and Sander Kallas and company, along with newcomers like Patrick Hanko and Jeffrey Fournier, another, I don't want to say old-timer, but coming back, the Frenchman, to prove what he can do. As we see these first couple of sectors, it's Braksuk that's lighting up the timing screen, and Schluter just a tenth or so adrift at the moment.
Yeah, he's only a little bit behind, but this final sector in the stadium section is very technical, so you have to be extremely patient on throttle. Braksuk's time is a 1:14. Latinen nearly a second behind, but Schluter finds that time, the extra 2/10 he needed in the stadium section, and he's on pole here. Ruben Machete, he's hoping to end his nightmarish half season and pick up a point or two at last after being a title contender. As we back in the halfway point of the season, it's all unraveled since then. So to have Ruben back on form in third place, Optiminal with the 2, 3, 4, they've got options if they're going to deny Go Team this team's championship. Callas in P5 with Latina in 6th, and then Tom Aldenmenger, who's kind of the benchmark in terms of constantly getting points. He's managed to get points every single round he's entered, and he's got one last chance to try and figure his way onto the podium after Bahrain was the peak of his season thus far with the 3rd position.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, I've got on with Tom since very, very early on when I met him. He's a fantastic guy, and this could well be Aldermenger's final season. So as much as Braksuk and Fournier have had brilliant performances this season, there is a part of me that sees Aldermenger on 97 points, just 7 or 8 behind Braksuk and Fournier, and what sort of thing, come on Tom, you can get that P4. But I do think against the likes of Janos Braksuk and Jeffrey Fournier, you do need to bring your absolute A game. But yeah, Aldermenger, he has had a very, very strong, consistent career, and I really hope he sticks around and helps out on the admin side, because he's been a brilliant character to have around. But if this is the last race we see of Tom Oldermenger, then I'm sure he's going to go all out to try and replicate that podium he got at the start of the season. But yeah, it's going to take not just a good qualifying, but a good strategy too. And also look out for Oldermenger's teammate who's making his debut, which is a man from Scotland, Daniel Scott, who you might recognise. You'll definitely recognise Owen from other championships you commentate on. Competes for the Rookie Monsters team, of course, most memorably. But yeah, good to see Scott making his debut here, filling in for the absent Mirko Mancini.
Yeah, very welcome to Daniel. Nice to see him yet again. So we'll see if he can threaten the top 10. He needs to find a couple of hundreds, I should say, to beat Lucas Viscott for that position. So Lucas is improving on his time at the moment. He's going green, but Janos, he's going purple again. This final sector is what cost him the chance to be quickest. So if he can figure out what went a little bit incorrect, I should say. It was a very good time, but he needs to improve it. Can he do it? Oh, yes, he can. Oh, it's a marginal situation there. Just a few hundredths of a second there. 7 hundredths to be absolutely precise. But there we go. Janos Braszczuk, he dialed in the correct lap, and Schluter needs to respond quickly.
Yeah, and I wonder if David can fill us in a bit more about this. I wonder if this is a case of Braszczuk, because you saw that final sector was a personal best, but it wasn't purple. It wasn't quite as quick as the best final sector we've seen. So I wonder if... Oh, look at Schluter.
My goodness.
Equals Braszczuk to 3 decimal places there. And yeah, that final... It was, again, losing the time in that final sector as well. So I wonder if there's that temptation to heat the rears up earlier in the lap. And it's costing some of the drivers who are a little bit keen to warm up their tyres, but then suddenly find them overheating by the time they get to that final sector, especially the stadium section where they really need the traction on exit.
Yeah, I think by then it's kind of, they've cooled down a bit. Where it's really, really critical is just through the sort of the pretend Maggots, Beckett's S's before the straight up into the stadium section. Once they're into the stadium section, the temperatures have come down a bit, but it is just so Mickey Mouse through there that it's really awkward getting the car around. And I think some people might just have got a bit of a knack for where to put the car to get through there quickly. It's certainly not going to be an aero thing. It's going to be a suspension-dominated sector. And but interesting that Braszczuk and Schluter are sort of in a class of their own at the moment. The two of them 0.231 ahead of Reuven Meshdi, and then of course Patrick Hanko. So they've certainly got it dialed in.
Yeah, we just saw Saba Elekes have a big crash there at the turn 10 and 11 section. Scott improves his time but doesn't manage to catch up because Viscott has actually been overtaken. I think it must have been Cosmo Pasquito who's entered the top 10 now, so that leaves Scott stuck in 11th place. We're now watching Zsolt Sux compete for his first effort in the session. 2.5 minutes to go precisely, and he bangs in a super time there to go 6th quickest, a 1 minute 15.117. That's about 6/10 of a second off pole, but Braszczuk wants to improve the situation even more. He's gone beyond the track limits there, and he has to abandon the lap quickly, so he has the final chance. But that was extreme, and that's the standard we need to see from FSR World Championship drivers to get this pole position. He was all over the shop, Ed, but I love to see it.
Yeah, me too. It's a little bit like watching a fighter pilot desperately trying to wrestle for control there, essentially under huge G-forces, especially going through the S's where suddenly the car is having to negotiate in the other direction and it swings back and forth. So you could really see the sort of pendulum effect there. And yeah, it certainly feels like the optimal drivers have got the car on a bit more of a knife edge than some of the Go teams. But yeah, crucial for their team's championship hopes that Braszczuk can improve or at least stay on that pole position and that Schluter doesn't go any quicker. But yeah, Machete, Schluter, Braszczuk are our 3 pole sitters so far this season, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Reuven obviously not had the best of luck recently, but he'll be able to get involved in that fight as well. Seeing that Braszczuk can do it will give him that little boost of confidence, I suspect.
And in your summing up of the season earlier in Mark's championship, one of the great things is that he's been pushed very hard. Reuven's pushed him when he's been here. Janos has pushed him super hard. Jeffrey pushed him super hard at the Circus of the Americas. So he hasn't won it at a canter. despite the fact that he's had, what I think he said, 6 wins, he's had to fight for all of them and really deliver his best. So that's just nice to see a bit of depth there at the pointy end.
Yeah, it's 5 wins actually. Yeah. So
Well, it could be
he
6
has
by
a
the
chance
end
to
of
go
this. You never know.
6% hit rate, a 6% hit ratio, but at the minute, yeah, he's got more than half. So if he gets exactly half, that's still extraordinarily good. And 20 seconds to go in the session. Not a lot of times with Sander Callas. He's gone green there, but we'll watch the effort from Saba Elikas to try and rise up the order a bit more after that crash. And it's not to be. He misses his PB by a single tenth. But we'll switch over now to Sander. Very, very important for his championship ambitions if he wants to be the runner-up and to help the effort here from the Vega Valley. Sorry, the
Ground effect.
Ground effect, beg your pardon. So ground effect would love a result here. Oh, that's close. Oh, a bit wobbly there. Ground effect themselves, 3rd in the team's championship, comfortably so. So it's all about pride tonight. And here we go, Sander to try and improve his lot on the grid. No, it hasn't. It might have been deleted actually. That might have been a deletion. But Machete is purple in sector 1. And Salt Sucks goes up to 5th. So it's all happening here. Patrick Hanko, I think he might have improved as well. But it's all down to Ruben Machete unless he's been...
Machete's done.
He's done. So Schluter, he's gone green here, but he needs to find something to gain the pole position. At the moment, the tiebreaker is in Janos's favor. So he's got to do something absolutely special here, using all that AstroTurf that he can legally do, but it's all over. He's going to abandon the lap. And despite a tie to 3 thousandths of or the 3 digits, the thousandths of a second has worked out in Janos Brashok's favor. So congratulations, Janos. An extraordinary time there. And he will begin on the run down the famous start-finish straight on pole. But defending it at this venue is another matter entirely, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we even saw in the pro race that Istvan Singal was second on the grid, but got a great run on his teammate, David Akine, to take the lead into the first corner. So obviously Optimal have not got the front row to themselves because Schluter could not physically could not have been much closer in that session. So it's great to see qualifying end on such a tight margin there in our final qualifying session of the season. So it really, just to sum up the sector battle, Braxok quicker in sector 1 and 2, and then in sector 3 it was Schluter that was about a tenth quicker. So yeah, tiny margins making a big difference in the end.
Yeah, for sure. Let's run down our grid once again to help us on our way to the final round of this championship. Janos Brashok and Mark Schluter with the dead heat, but Janos got the time first by a few seconds, so that's what counts. Ruben Machete, P3, so this is good signs for Optimal just to at least gain a few more points on CMT Go team. Patrick Hanko 4th, Zolt Sucks 5th, Jeffrey Fournier in 6th, with Sander Callas the best of the ground effect team in 7th, Yas Latinen keeping his head down there in 8th, Tom Aldenmenger 9th, and Nandor Marza gets the top 10. George Zalozyanis in the other ground effect car gets 11th. Cosmo Pasquito is 12th, with Daniel Scott on debut for Vega Valley 13th. Saba Elikas P14. Lucas Viscott is 15th, and then bringing up the rear, it's Matthew Tucson there in the other ground effect SimRacing car. But yeah, Matthew never one to be ignored here. He's doing pretty well this season with regular top 10s, but I'm sure it's going to be a heck of a fight all the way from the back end here. But let's wait and see, of course, as we head into a bit of an intermission, but we'll get our race running in just a moment.
Yeah, I think I called Matt Tucson in the highlights video where I was filling in for Ron Squire, who does a brilliant job with those highlights. I called Matt Tucson Mr. Consistent. So, as I said, nickname, because he always, not the fastest in qualifying, but he always seems to find a way through the chaos in the race and tends to end up with a decent result. He's in fact just outside the top 10 the points on 42 points. So he's about 5 behind Christian Pascal at the moment. And his last 3 races in a row since Singapore, he's finished inside the top 9 in every single race. So certainly Matt Tucson, by his standards, has really excelled himself in that third ground effect car.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't just say that because he qualified last time.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But yeah, the racecraft around here will be absolutely critical. Pit lane, it's not the longest on the calendar by any means, but the fact that you're full throttle for pretty much a whole kilometer nearly, or near enough that, you just feel like you're losing out so badly. As you rejoin the track, everyone is going to go full pelt past you in the thinner air with this altitude. So that's the challenge of these drivers. They need to think very, very hard about their preferred strategy. And I'm sure last year could tell a little hint or two about what could happen. But yeah, definitely the chance to have something up the sleeve. Well, I suppose it never was last year around here, so that can be disregarded. But yeah, I'm sure someone could be thinking long and hard about strategy here. Maybe they pick something up in practice that may spring a surprise or two.
Yeah, just wondering if now might be a good point to go to a quick ad break during the warm-up.
Yeah, may as well. See you in just a moment.
The SimRacer's Performance Guide, your guide to race setup, strategy, driver performance. Dive in deep, learn about suspension, aero, braking, drivetrain, with a 77-page manual packed full of hours of video tutorials as well. Learn how to fully engineer your setup and get more from your sim. Written and tested by real-world racing drivers, proven in Formula Sim Racing and VEC. Understand and optimize it all with the SimRacer's Performance Guide. Quote FSR for a 20% discount off the normal €10 price.
And just like that, our break time is over. So we'll be getting the grid assembled as we speak. So once again, it's myself, Eoin Harmon, beside Ed Hunter and David O'Reilly in commentary. Broadcast director is Amir Oates. And for the final time, the FSR World Championship will be running with great aplomb, I'm sure. So yeah, any last second predictions before we get going, guys?
Oof. I think Brax has got a great opportunity. Him and Schluter's going to be an amazing fight, and I wonder if Machete is going to... He seems to have a much better qualifying than last time out in Suzuka, hasn't he, in third? So I think Machete, if he can hold off Hanka, he should be able to get involved in that top 3 fight as well. I think Optiminal might win this race, but I think Go Team are almost certainly going to win the team's championship. But I could very much be proved wrong, depending on how the race plays out.
I'm just really looking forward to watching it from the comfort of my commentary chair. I think I'm going to enjoy that more than I enjoyed driving in the pro race, if you could call it that. I'd like to do one quick little shout out to Sander Callis. Many of our viewers here on YouTube will know of Le Mans Unlimited, which is the hot new thing on the block as far as sim racing goes, and may not be aware that Le Mans Unlimited and rFactor 2 are both owned by Studio 397, and in fact they both share the same physics engine. So if you like, this is really the open wheeler and everything else version. Le Mans Unlimited, of course, just has prototypes and GT3s. But the reason for that intro is Sander Callis, who is on the grid today, I think 7th in qualifying. Sander is the first driver to have achieved a platinum driver rating in Le Mans Unlimited. So I just want to tip my hat to Sander and say well done. And any Le Mans Unlimited fans out there, if they want to come and see how it's done and get involved in Formula Sim Racing, this is where it's at.
Yeah, my goodness, that's an extraordinary achievement. One of its kind on the new platform there, Le Mans Ultimate. So Let's have a look at our formation lap. We're about 40% done already. So let's run down our grid one last time. And it's pole position there for Janos Brashok ahead of Mark Schluter. Of course, they were inseparable by the stopwatch, but the tiebreaker worked out for Janos. Then in third place, it's Ruven Machete beside Patrick Hanko, the head-to-head for the Teams Championship. Perfectly encapsulated here by our first two rows. Then we've Zolt Sux and Jeffrey Fournier together as the buffer for Optimal. Sander Callas for ground effects. He's just concerned about his own race. Jesse Latinen in P8. Alden Menger, perhaps it's his final outing for Vega Valley. And in overall racing, he'll start from 9th, Nandor Marza 10th, George Zalogianis in 11th, and Cosmo Pasquito 12th. Then on the other end of the scale, it's a rookie, Daniel Scott, making his debut in 13th, with Saba Elekes in 14th. And last but not least, on row 8, Lucas Viscott is beside Matthew Toussaint. And tire strategies will be verified in just a moment, but if, and it's a big if, guys, Ed, I'll go to you on this one. If all three compounds are in use, that will make this first stint absolutely incredible, I think.
It's certainly difficult to predict, isn't it? We saw in the pro race that the hard tyres, some were able to get into last, but it was very difficult to stop them sliding at the rear as, the two Optiminals, Braxok and Machete, looking very, very close. I think Machete might have gone slightly forward in his box there, but it looks okay. Maybe it was just a deceptive camera angle as Toussaint slots in at the rear, and we're about to get going, Eoin.
Yeah, we are indeed. Just waiting now for the race director to signal the lights. And we can get going here. Here's the first one. Number 3, 4, and 5. Oh, they're re-looped a bit here. It might be a graphical glitch, but the drivers are released and it's go, go, go. Round 10 is underway and the slipstream is key here. And Schluter blocks pretty hard, but Ruven Machete wants to get some points once again after his title bid evaporated on him. Here we go, side by side. Schluter on the right of your screens, but he's gone the high side, he's through. And a Hanko attempt here as well, but no, good defense there from the Optiminals. But worst case scenario, as Schluter gains the lead here. Sander Callas gains 2 positions immediately, so well done to him as Fournier is 6th and Latinen 7th. So Zolt Sux on soft tyres, if that's to be confirmed, has done very badly here.
Oh, and look at this side-by-side between Hanko as he tries to pass Machete up the inside at the hairpin at turn 6 and back down towards turn 7. It's going to be Machete on the inside, forces Patrick Hanko to back out there, tries to back him into Sander Callas a little bit here. So good attempt from Patrick Hanko around the outside, but Schluter broke later than everybody around the outside. Braxok almost didn't see it coming there, and so much confidence from the world champion to be able to take the lead there. And I think Schluter very much put right what he saw as the wrong of qualifying, where he set the pole time but didn't start on pole. And he, you saw oddly, I think it was Braxok who was like a little bit back in his box, almost as though he knew he was going to get jumped and wanted to sort of take advantage of the slipstream there. But I think that very much backfired for Braxok and played right into Schluter's hands.
Yeah. Fair bit of wheel banging between 6th place and about 9th or 10th place. And I think the big winner in that little group was Sander Callas, who's up into 5th.
Yeah, it's
a medium tyre too.
See a lap 2 underway, and 71 laps in total. So there we go, good gap already for Brashok over his teammate Machete. But Patrick Hanko is one to watch there. Sander Callas with that momentum on the side on the mediums. But we'll look at the other end of the scale, Viscott versus Marza here for 12th position. And Marza will block as hard as he can here. And Daniel Scott down a position. Looking to see if he can get it back. Pasquito and Toussaint. They're all in camera view as well, but Toussaint kind of by himself there on the hard tires. He just needs to settle down and make sure he gets them up to temperature. Elekes, quickest sector 1 there, with Brashok gaining in sector 2. So Schluter not all concrete just yet, so the DRS will come into play if the gap stays about 0.8 of a second here. So he's on target. Machete's on the bubble.
Braxok is really flirting with the track limits and the wall, frankly, at turn 4, essentially. He breaks really late around the outside to try and scare Mark Schluter here. We're about to see Scott get past Viscott then. So Viscott, having been cleared by Marsa in that close battle, is about to see Scotsman Daniel Scott dispense with him on debut as well, unless he can break late around the outside, which is exactly what he does. So Scott had the advantage there, but he didn't really have the confidence on the brakes to complete that move, and crucial for Viscott, who's running along in this race on the hard tyres, to lose as little ground as possible. Here comes Scott again.
Again, he's left the braking a little bit too generous there, and Cosmo, look, the contact is made. Cosmo through, but that will certainly be investigated to make sure that was a legal overtake. But yeah, Cosmo is through. Hopefully Daniel's tyre and suspension are intact there. That took a heavy hit. Matthew Toussaint would have been startled to see someone coming up on his visor so quickly. But at least all drivers are able to continue as things stand.
Yeah, it was very close for comfort. I thought it was sort of a bold attempt there from Cosmo to go around the outside. That became the inside for turn 5. And then Scott tried to shut the door almost a little too late there. I wonder if he got a bit caught out by that. But yeah, either way, they're both still in the race, crucially. And as you say, Cosmo getting through by hook or by crook. But I think he's immediately just passed Viscott then. So good to see Prosciutto after his brilliant 6th place at Suzuka. Been on a 2-race DNF streak before then. Prosciutto really turning his season around right at the end as Hanko really late on the brakes. Oh! He's been overtaken by Callis somewhere and clearly now being held up by him as he clambers into the back of him. And Sander Callis, I think, a little bit bemused by that one.
It must have happened the last lap.
Weaving all over the show.
Yeah,
there's a big train behind him now.
Big aggression on side here, and it's helping out Ruben Machete. For example, so yeah, at the moment, with Patrick Hanko stuck behind, yeah, he's wiggling again. There's clear evidence of it, so this is great news for Optimal to try and reduce the gap. But of course, if Schluter wins the race, then it's almost impossible to overturn that for Optimal, no matter how good they are as a duo. So Janos Brashok needs to figure out how to overtake Mark, or else the team championship is secure for CMT Go Team. And here it comes.
Brashok has just gotten Schluter with DRS down the main straight. And I've been on board with Brashok for a couple of laps, and he was monstering Schluter through Sector 2, but Schluter was doing much, much stronger in Sector 3 and onto the main straight. But, oh God, Janos is using all the track. Goodness gracious, it's almost like I've paid for that bit, so I'm going to use that bit. And but certainly going right to the limit of what's legal on track limits, and Janos has gotten through. But let's see if Schluter can perform his magic in the final sector.
Yeah, but Janos is absolutely searing clear now. The Sector 2 times will pop up in just a moment, so we'll get the evidence of just how quick Janos is going. He's going for another fastest lap here, guys. Yeah, it's purple again in Sector 2. Half a second in this single sector alone. And he was so much quicker with that DRS. So Schluter's going to miss out here. And Ruben Machete, if he can compare, it will be a very concerning moment here for the Go Team. There we have it, lap 6 underway, and that's a smashing lap for Janos there, 1:17.817.
Yeah, certainly he's, as David says, flirting with the track limits, but using it to get effect again. He has the back, keeps 2 wheels on the curb into turn 1 there. But Brashok now is going to be determined to try and escape as we cut back to Fournier on the soft tyre. Him and Zux are very, very desperate to spread the pain and knock Patrick Hanko down a few places. So this interruption from Callis, who's opportunistically got himself up into 4th past Patrick Hanko, has very much played into their hands because it's backed Patrick into them. So our most recent race winner is in a little bit of trouble here, and Patrick Hanko needs to make sure he doesn't fall down too many places here, because it could start to put Go Team's hopes just in that little bit of jeopardy, especially if Machete is also able to join the party and get past Schluter and make an optimal 1-2 here. So this is very much not going to plan. Schluter, brilliant start, but now starting to watch Brashok disappear up the road in front of him.
Yeah, and Brashok, if things stay as they are, he'll go up to 130 points with his first victory of the season. He won't be able to beat Patrick Hanko on that scoreline, but Sander Callas, if he loses positions after his great start here, then yeah, he would be on the bubble. An excellent effort from Janos just to end the season like this. Is an absolute maniac at the minute, driving so quickly. Everyone on medium tyre pretty settled right now, but Fournier and Sux, they'll need to figure out a lap or two where they can just go for a broke against Hanko and make some overtakes. But watching Hanko as I speak, he's kind of in that sandwich behind Callas, and he's going to have to think of something really, really intelligent to make an overtake here. Load in the track map again. It's a congested top 12 or so. The gap between Marza has overtaken Elikaz there. Yes, this looks to be an overtake for Marza.
Yep, there we go. Marza qualified really well in the pro race and had a decent finish in the top 7, top 6 or so. Split the two Valley eSports cars of the Canzonieri and Van den Hudding. And yeah, good to see him starting to make a few moves on the soft tyre against Zabrelakis, who's also subbing in from the pro class. But yeah, Patrick Hanko here, desperate to get his own back on Callas. They're both on the mediums, so it's kind of stalemate between the two. But Optiminal, Fournier and Zux, they could maybe work together. I suspect Zux maybe is trying to not attack Jeffrey Fournier as much as he otherwise would, to give Jeffrey enough breathing space to focus on Hanko in front of him. Oh, and is that Machete trying to attack Schluter for P2?
It certainly is, Ed. Here we go. Oh, big slide there for Reuven. Don't tempt the car to spin out on you again. We want to see you on your best form here, Reuven, to end the year. That has been really, really challenging ever since the British Grand Prix. It all unraveled from him at that stage. When oh, the contact! Oh, that could be championship implications. But Schluter will have to back off here. That will be better off with the discretion. And there we go. The Optiminal 1-2 makes this very interesting now for the team's championship.
Yeah, it looked to me like Schluter lifted out of that to make amends for that little love tap.
Yeah, and it looked like Reuven had got the move done, so I think that was Schluter just being a little optimistic and late on the brakes into the sort of turn 6 hairpin there. But yeah, either way, Machete set that move up beautifully, and as you rightly say, Eoin, now Gotim are very much on the back foot.
Yeah, sometimes, pardon me, I was just going to say, sometimes when you've just been overtaken and your visor is just full of someone's rear wing, it's a little harder to spot your braking points, and it can be very easy to sort of just tap into somebody because you can't really see where you are, because all you can see is somebody else's gearbox. So that was all.
Sorry for the interruption, but we carry on now with Callas. Lost a lot of time to the podium setters here, and about 6 seconds off. But Patrick Hanko is his priority at the minute. There we go, Patrick. You'll have to just sit back, watch what's going on next. The Slovakian just concerned perhaps what's going on behind him, because if Optiminal get the third car ahead and something were to happen to Brashok or Machete, then that just gives Optiminal even more flexibility. And of course, Fournier has every right to frustrate Hanko if he so chooses, so that'll be massive for the championship if this were to cause Hanko even more headaches. But at the moment, with the soft tires, I suppose they just need to pick their spot and then prepare to run board with the fourth Optiminal on ascending order here. It's Oates in P7. So he has the gap he needs over Tom Oldenmenger as we now enter the straight for lap 10.
Yeah, and with 1-2, Optiminal will be gaining 46 points, the maximum score they can out of this one. Third and fifth would only be 20 points, I think. It'd be 18 plus 12, which is actually 30 points. So they'd be gaining 16 points, which is almost halving that 33-point gap then. So any further position loss, and Schluter and Hanko could start to see a lot of pressure applied here. And certainly Patrick Hanko doing well to keep the soft-shod Fournier and Zux behind him. And obviously, lap by lap, the softs are going to wear a lot quicker than the mediums. So Fournier's opportunities are going to start to decrease, and he might definitely be in for an early stop, I would suspect.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by what Fournier and Zoltan Zux are planning on doing, starting on the softs, because 10 laps in, I think the shine would have come off those tyres, and he really won't have any advantage over Hanko. And yeah, so I'm just really fascinated by what their strategy is all about, starting on the softs. So we'll see it unfold, I guess.
Absolutely. So lap times remain pretty solid in the 118s at the minute. Fuel loads are burning off a little bit, but definitely everyone's tyres will be off their peak in a short while. Certainly the soft tyres, you have to consider how much further they can go. And yeah, Sander Callas still leading this big train all the way down to Tom in 8th place. You can just pick out the shiny yellow livery there in the background. But now back to the podium, and oh, there we go. Look at Callas kicking up a little bit of the grass, but that's okay. He's not going to spin out like that. And Hanko, he still has to watch this middle sector. Very, very frustrating if you're in a big queue like this. It just means you have to keep going across the sweepers. You have to lift off a bit more to avoid the dirty air. So there we go. You'll see now, particularly 8 and 9. Gotta be very careful there. And then 10 and 11. There we go. Complete sector 2. The tactics not able to spring into life just yet, but it may just be the case where one of these optimals goes for the very quick undercut and tries to push very, very hard on their next set of tyres. That may not happen for a little while yet.
Well, one of them already has, actually, come to think of it, Owen. It's Sabrialecki who pit that previous lap. He's put on another set of medium tyres then after about 9 or 10 laps then. So always we see, this is Schluter going back into P2. So he had a good run on Ruben Machete into the first corner. And that's absolutely key for Go Team. Gives them just a little bit more margin to work with. But here comes Machete fighting back with the DRS immediately to turn 4. And they collide!
Oh, no!
And round goes Machete. So he just lost out on the inside there. That was big contact for the second time in this race. Machete and Schluter have a little bit of argy-bargy. And this time it's Ruben that very much comes off the worst.
Highly unfortunate, but that's great news for Brashok and his personal agenda to go on and win the race. He's going to be even further ahead now. The impact, the chassis-to-chassis impact there allows another 0.8 of a second nearly of an advantage for Janos this lap. And Sander Callas will have certainly been informed what happened, and that can give him a chance to catch up to Reuven, whose tyres will definitely feel the effects of that slide about 90 degrees to the left.
Yeah, so I think Mark Schluter threw, but certainly that could well be investigated after the race, that collision, if Ruben Machete decides to report it. But yeah, Reuven still in play, 2.5 seconds behind. I don't think Schluter's going to slow down and let him through this time. That's for certain. But yeah, as you say, for Janos, still 0.2 quicker than Schluter, the previous lap. So Braxocker is focused, I think, as you say, on the win, because whatever happens behind, it's sort of out of his hands, essentially, the team's championship. Braxocker is fighting for that first ever win, and I think he would be our 5th different winner this season if he was able to pull it off. I think he would be, yes. So that would match the wins that because we did just have a new winner in pro, so as Tom Alderman goes really wide onto the grass and just avoids the wall there, and Tom was right behind the two Optiminals and looking to pick up pieces. And that was a big, scary moment for the Vega Valley eSports driver.
Yeah, I just picked up too much grass on the right side tires. Yeah, I definitely saw on my picture-in-picture that he just guided his car a little bit too close to the grass. And then when you have to hit the brakes, the front tires just won't be able to bite whatsoever. But thankfully, the runoff was able to pick or be generous enough to allow him to continue. That just allows Zolt Sux to pull clear, so our big train of 5 cars is reduced by 1. We'll see how much longer those soft tires can go and how quickly Optim will have to prepare a fresh set either for Fournier or for Sux.
So I went back and had a quick little look at that contact between Mark Schluter and Ruben Meshti, and there was a beautiful DRS, very clean DRS pass by Mark Schluter, but when Ruben Meshti came back at him, he was pretty much fully alongside before the turn-in point, and the contact occurred really, really close to the apex on the inside. So I don't think Reuven could have left much more room. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, a lot of the guys will just leave that sort of action on the track, but if they were inclined to pursue it from an administrative position, they'd probably get a bit of a hearing.
Oh goodness!
Zalagiano's in trouble.
Yeah, he would have been battling Marza perhaps, but that's part of the track. It's certainly a case where it could have been a solo error, but thank goodness everyone around him would have seen what had happened and could go around him. Certainly wouldn't normally go that close to the wall at turn 11, but you never know. And Cosmo Pasquito,
he's got some damage.
Yeah, it's right to pit.
But Marsa going into the pits at the same time as well, so I do suspect maybe that those pit stops are co-related.
And we're just rewinding the replay. There we go. Back another 20 seconds, so we'll get a clue about what happened. 7, 8, 9. Are they indicative? No, it could be 11 itself. Yeah, he's just bottomed out on the curb. Yeah, and he hits the wall, rear right suspension, getting the brunt of that one. So yeah, that was just unlucky. The floor just made too much of a reverb on the tarmac, and that was the moment. And there's the collision wheel to side pod there, and Machete ended up spinning for his trouble.
Yeah, I think from onboard and Machete, it almost looks like he understeers into Mark, and that's certainly what he will be arguing as Braxock is pitting from the lead as we're watching this. But yeah, from onboard with Schluter, it looks a little bit like he kind of turns into Reuven.
Yeah, it's about middle of the apex there, and Saba Alakaz has made an error himself. It'll be turn 8, and then 9 is the next left-hander coming. So there we go. It's again a similar situation. Too much of the that's a bad one on the rear left this time. So turns 10 and 11 are catching these cars out, and Saba, an irredeemable piece of damage there. That's knocked him out of our race. And that leaves with 15 on.
Braxock has rejoined less than 17 seconds behind the lead in 8th place, and a pit stop transit here, including the tyre change, is 22 seconds. So Braxock well and truly still in the net lead of this race by certainly 3 or 4 seconds. So this has been his most dominant drive to date. He's been competitive and sometimes had to try something funky on tyre strategy. I seem to recall that happening in Spa. But here, on equal tyres, Janos Braxock is really, really being very, very dominant.
Well, in comes Schluter from P2. His teammate Hanko hit the lap before, so clearly got a bit fed up being stuck behind Sander Callas for multiple laps. So this is crucial. How far behind is Schluter going to be when Braxock appears on the scene down that start-finish straight?
Yeah, and Sux is the first driver off the soft tyres there for the Optimals. Here's Fournier, and now Braxock is ahead of Latina there, so there's no bravery or silliness from Yassi in the MV Conquest. He just figured out there was no way to defend that one. But Jeffrey Fournier to take on Sander Callas for the first time since that train got split up even further. But Sander is going to be full here. He knows, wants to confirm his ability to finish third in the championship at the very least, and losing points to Jeffrey Fournier would not be helpful. So we'll see now if those soft tyres have any more to give through 7, 8 and now 9 for 10 and 11. There we go. Lovely stuff. But
Sander's running really long here. Look at Tom Oldermeg. He lost over 2 seconds with that mistake. It very nearly ended his race, but for his cat-like reflexes. And now he's gained that all back again. So that really shows you the pace that Callas has kept to. It's been very, very consistently in the sort of 1 minute, mid 1 minute 20s to high 1 minute 20s. And in they come. There we go. Callas followed by Fournier. So Fournier thought he was getting the jump on him, only to see Callas come in at the exact same time.
And Fournier made his softs last as long as Sander Callas's mediums. That's pretty impressive.
Without a doubt, but watch out for Zaltzux. We'll know how he's getting on with his set of medium tires. But Ruben Machete takes over the lead here. He's going to try and go probably 18 or this lap or next lap on these tires. Just make sure the undercut isn't all powerful. But yeah, Zalt is ahead of Sander. That is great news for Optimal to have that information on hand to show what the undercut is like. And Sander for his bid to finish second in the championship. That's a critical blow.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Callas have been defending well, but I think the raw pace, he has switched to the hard tyre now. So definitely another longish sort of stint coming for Santa Callas. Whereas everybody else, apart from Goating, seem to be favouring the medium tyre. Machete now pits at the end of lap 18, and that's going to allow Oldenmenger to lead on what could well be his last World Championship appearance, but he has got Braxock all over the tail of him, so it's only going to be for one lap.
Yeah, Vago Valle can be proud that things are looking up here as they go long with Daniel Scott as well. He's going to be open to attack from Zaltzux, and there we go. But on screen, Mark Schluter, he's got no more time to mess around this hard tire stint that he's on. He'll have to push where he can and then back off to make those tires last. So Braxock definitely has the pair in the pocket at the moment. Just needs to make sure he can keep working and then become perhaps a full house to make sure he can lock out this critical victory. He's come so close 3 times with second places, and then the thriller in Japan where 3 drivers had different strategies. Janos finished 3rd that time about 3 weeks ago. So his chance to finally get a win in 2025, it's in his hands. As we now check out Sander Callas, who has Jeffrey Fournier for company. So this is another big deal for Ground Effect Sim Racing and their driver who wants to finish second in the championship if he can.
Yeah, the other thing.
Strategies. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say is that Machete's pit and come out about 3 or 4 seconds ahead of Patrick Hanko. So good thing Optimal didn't leave it too much longer, because Hanko might have been able to undercut, and that could have really compromised Machete. But that's kept Reuven in a sort of net 3rd in this race.
So interesting divergent strategies between our 2 main protagonists from the first stint, Braxock and Schluter. Janos going for a medium and Schluter going for a hard. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out late in this stint.
Yeah, here's Daniel Scott after making that pit stop now. Can he make an overtake on Viscott? In all honesty, it looks like a done deal here. But Scott, we've seen him be tentative on the brakes as he gets to the hang of the FSR World Championship chassis. But this time, he's finally found a bit of confidence and makes the overtake for us to splendor over.
Oh, fastest lap of the race for Braxock, 1 minute 17.678. So he is flying out there. Obviously nowhere near the qualifying times because of the higher fuel loads, of course. But yeah, certainly he has pulled a good 4 seconds now ahead of Oldenmenger, who's been closed in on by Schluter here. So, of course, as David was very rightly pointing out, Schluter in the harder compound is going to be able to run a bit longer in theory, as Latinen pits out of 4th position. So he's also run very long in this first stint on the mediums. I think him and Tom Oldenmenger were the 2 outliers running longer than anybody else. So it'll be interesting to see if they can save a bit of time in the pits at the end of this one. But yeah, Braxock pulling a big gap now because he knows Schluter running a bit longer means he may have fresher tyres come the 3rd stint of the race.
I suppose to ask a question to David here, if you're Tom Oldenmenger going a bit even longer than everyone else at the minute, would you feel if you can keep Schluter behind for another 2 laps, would you risk it to go even further, or would you say if Schluter is on the gearbox, then just get straight in the pits? What would you do in his situation?
Well, 20 laps in, Tom's doing pretty well, and it's just going to depend on his pace, because if, for example, he was going to do a 2-stop, he's in good shape to do medium, and finish up on the hards. So Just depends how quickly they're closing on you, I guess. So 20 laps is a pretty good go on the medium. He's in the
Yeah, he
pits as
just
we
did
speak.
actually.
Yeah.
He's found the limit of the medium tires, and his ideal situation would be to be in the pocket between Fournier and Marza. That'd be about correct for his performance in the first stint. So we'll see those guys breeze ahead. So Tom just exiting pit lane now, and he's, as you say, David, he's got another set of mediums. So that's on point. So well done. As Nandor just has to hope that those colder tires lose a lot of time to make it a bit of a contest. Fournier on DRS, having another look at Sander Callas. But it may be a case where Jeffrey has got to figure out something in the halfway point of the race. I think this stint is going to be a case. It's battle head-to-head with Callas for the majority of it.
And is Callas on hard tyres? Yeah, so Jeffrey's got to be feeling ambitious about passing Callas while Callas is on the hard. And interestingly, it's Zoltan Suks, of course, who was also on the softs when Fournier was, effectively undercut his teammate and is two spots further ahead. The slightly odd thing about tyre wear here is it's not as easy to figure out when your tyres are going off because there's no grip anyway when they're new. So it doesn't sort of fall away from a beautiful moment to something awful. It just starts off pretty bad and very gradually gets worse.
Yeah, we'll get a representative lap from Tom now that he has the chance to do a full lap again. After going from the pit lane, it's going to slow you down a lot. So Jeffrey, especially with that in mind, being about 4 or 5 laps later. Oh my goodness. And that's a mistake there from Viscott, was it? And that's Zalogiannis, who should be through already.
Yeah, so Zalogiannis hit the wall earlier, but Viscott, fair play to him, he's kept his foot in. He's still going to be there on the outside, but I think Zalogiannis is going to get the DRS easily and gets back into 13th position as Viscott has a bit of a moment on the brakes and locks up into turn 1 there. So, yeah, certainly George is on a bit of a comeback drive through the field after taking a bit too much curb, got a bit greedy, and that's left him a bit down the field with a lot of work to do. But, yeah, certainly he's shown a lot of perseverance and resilience. It's been a much stronger season for Zalogiannis than 2024. So, yeah, he's certainly one of the more improved drivers of those coming back for their second season in the World Championship. So next up for him is Daniel Scott. He's about 10 seconds up the road, fighting with his teammate Matt Toussaint. So Toussaint might be able to play into his hands a little bit here on those harder compound of tyres if he can hold Scott up and back him into his teammate.
Yeah, that'll be very welcome. Teamwork there from Toussaint if he is asked to do it or if he decides to do it on his own terms. With Zoltsuks, definitely one to watch in this second stint. 118.7.
Oh, there we go then.
Tom is quick as well. So Tom does get that very fast lap time. So that's alarm bells for Fournier, who's still unable to overtake Callas. But in the box, it's Toussaint. So yeah, as David says, that strategy is negligible. It's not going to work out this time, but maybe later on it could.
From Froldermenger, of course, is he's lapping half a second quicker than Callas and Fournier now, but once he catches up to the back of them, he could well be stuck in that train again, like we saw in the first stint. Of course, he's got the advantage in terms of there's a bit of a tyre delta in his favour here on those mediums, even relative to Jeffrey Fournier, because him and Callas pit at the same time, of course. But yeah, it's really going to rely on things kicking off. He sort of ideally would want Zux to pass Hanko, Fournier to pass Callas, as here comes Zux immediately passing Hanko, as I unintentionally predicted there, and cutting across into turn 1, and Zux up to P4, and that is exactly what Patrick Hanko did not want. So Zux has been lapping very well in clear air, and Hanko's been struggling a bit for pace on the harder tyre in this stint then.
Yeah, Tim will have plan C in action now. 3 of their cars are in the top 5. Patrick Hanko's now the 5th one. So Sux has the ability to help out Reuven if required. And now at this battle for 12th position, Pasquito is looking to make the pass on Viscott here. And he's got the nose in front, and DRS makes the necessary boost he needed to complete the pass. And there we go. There's a lovely pass for Pasquito, Cosmo Pasquito into 12th. And Viscott will just have to try his best to keep up despite being on the harder compound. Now, guys, Geoffrey Fournier really needs to make this count now. His lap is actually a bit slower in Sector 2 than Sander, but definitely DRS is going to make his moment here. He's got 2 bites of the cherry. He's got to tee it up in the first DRS zone coming soon, and then go for it into the 4 and 5 chicane.
Hanko's really been struggling. 1 minute 19.4 that last lap when he was passed by Zux. So Callas and Fournier are starting to catch. They're both setting personal bests. 118.8 for the both of them, and then Oldermenga 118.3. So Callas is sort of fighting Hanko for P2 in the championship. Well, he's not far away from him now.
Of course, yeah. This is very, very nervous moments now for Patrick with Sander Callas. If he does beat him on the road, it won't be enough necessarily. He'll have to swing it. 11 points because the tiebreaker is Patrick Hanko has a race win. Sander Callas' best result is a 3rd, so Sander needs to figure out a big swing if he's going to take 2nd place in the championship. But it is Janos Brashok who's just going to miss out narrowly as things stand, but a fabulous drive in this first 33% of the event so far, nearing enough a 1/3 of the distance. Now Fournier is losing time in Sector 2 again, it looks like. Certainly, yes, he's lost 3/10, and Tom Aldenmenger is absolutely rapid here. He's slashed the gap, and he's almost a second behind here. Very, very impressive driving from Tom in this stint.
Certainly is. 8/10 on Fournier that last lap then. So, as you say, Oldermenger is coming, and if he starts to fall a little bit too far behind Callas, not getting the DRS and the slipstream, then he could very much be at the mercy of the Vega Valley eSports behind him. So Oldermenger really trying to end on a high here this season, and yeah, Geoffrey Fournier is very much in his sights now.
Luter's hards are coming into tyres are coming into their own a little bit now. He's going a little bit quicker than Janos Brashok is on his medium shod car. Only a few tenths in it, but it just looks like the pendulum is swinging towards the hard compound now in that battle for the win. But he's still 8 seconds behind, so Mark's got a lot of work to do to catch Janos.
And Reuven is also lapping about 3/10 quicker than Mark at the moment, having pit later for the mediums, so there's still a little threat from behind.
Ah, yes.
80 seconds or so have passed, and so far it remains difficult for Geoffrey Fournier to make this overtake, but Sector 2 was a PB for him. Still not enough though, and he's actually gained a little bit of time though. This is a bit better now from the Frenchman, but if it happens one more time, then Tom will be in the correct striking distance. We saw Patrick Hanko flash by. He's kind of making a way back against Sux. Very, very close between them at the moment. Yeah, once again, Sander Callas in the ground effect SimRacing car. He is doing everything he can to agonize Fournier and his ambition to help Optiminal however he can. With his championship bid, it came apart when it was sealed for Max Luter in the Circuit of the Americas. So the job for Geoffrey is just to end the season as best he can. As of course, he hasn't been on the podium since that win in Singapore. I wasn't there for it, but yeah, if he can at least get a top 5, then that would be a great job.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of a breakthrough, and Jeff had been waiting for that sort of win at the top level in single-seater SimRacing for many years. Never won an FSR before, of course, but you had to go back to, I think, was it 2017, 2018, like 7-8 years for his last top-level victory in GPV Super League as well. So I felt really happy to see Jeff get that win, and he's certainly giving Callas, continuing to give him a bit of a hard time here, but Sander Callas, who as David points out, he's put his all into Le Mans Ultimate. He sort of eats, sleeps and breathes sim racing, and he also helped ground effect to the eSports Endurance Championship title, which was also on rFactor 2 up until this next season that they're doing as well. So he's sort of the kings of endurance racing, and it's always lovely to see him use those same skills to good effect here. Sander Kallas, who's, as expected, being rock solid in defence, and Jeffrey Fournier getting more and more frustrated here, especially as Oldermenger now starts to join the party behind as well.
Yeah, Tom is definitely closing on them. And just, harkening back to Fournier in Singapore, you could tell from the opening couple of laps that Fournier was absolutely on it in Singapore and just piled on so much pressure onto Mark Schluter with his alternate strategy. And mega pressure, and the ice-cold Mark Schluter just blinked slightly. I think it was turning the car a little bit with DRS open, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it was a fantastic performance in Singapore.
I think Schluter had a moment into turn 5 where the rear got away from him. He overcorrected and then found the front wing heading towards the wall and off of his car. So it was a less than ideal situation for Mark. But yeah, to his credit, he fought back from that brilliantly the following round to take the title then. So you certainly can't... Mark Schluter, whatever criticism he might have gotten for that mistake, he's a hard... He doesn't let these things get to him, does he? And that's why he's world champion material, I guess, and subsequently world champion. But yeah, so Sander Kallas here, just really starting to drive defensively. The lap times of Hanko has started to... it feels like Kallas and Fournier, their paces dropped a little bit, and they're going about the same pace as Hanko now. And in turn, they're setting the same lap times as Zux. Braxok is in off the medium tyre. This is another 15 lap stint from him. Yeah. So he's not quite able to get the tyre life that some of even the other Optiminals are. And that's handed Schluter back the lead then on the hards.
So he's on a 3-stopper. He's on a 3-stopper because there's 40 laps to go. And he's put on hards. So yeah, interesting.
Here comes Fournier.
Yeah, this is a good sighting now for Fournier. He has been quicker these most recent laps. Going for a peek at the inside line. It's not successful. Oldermenger used it. They run off, and that's a mistake.
Momentum.
Big momentum loss. And Sander Kallas is down 2 positions. That's critical for Patrick Hanko in his bid to become the runner-up and help CMT Go team at least finish first and second in the Drivers' Championship. The Teams' Championship still up for grabs. Let's take a look at the replays just off camera where Sander Kallas' grip just let him go, so he's missed turn 1 completely and he cannot take turn 2 at all correctly. And my goodness, turn 3, that was so close. We'll get a look at the opposite camera view here from Jeffrey Fournier's point of view, the regular TV cam. So yeah, he's just completely shot through turn 1. Turn 2, he's compromised. And yeah, he has to watch out for Fournier into turn 3. And that allows Tom Oldermenger here to go through. Could be his last appearance as a driver. And that's definitely one to be proud of. He's worked really hard since his own error. And there we go, look at that switchback. Expertly taken there by Fournier. With any mistake that would have ended in a collision, and no doubt there would have been debris all over the apex.
I have to agree with what David was saying earlier about Jeffrey Fournier when he put the pressure on Schluter and made a mistake, because he did the exact same thing. Forced Sander Kallas into braking way too late into the first corner. Kallas had to collect it up, and by the time he did, Fournier was charging in like a bull in a china shop, and Sander Kallas left just enough space on the inside. So it was a full confidence from Jeffrey Fournier to pull that one off, and then Oldermenger picking up the pieces behind. But of course, Fournier not completely out of the woods yet, because Tom is still part of this, and there's still, now he's released, there's a great opportunity for Fournier to help Optiminal out and catch up to Patrick Hanko and spread the pain. At the moment, as things stands, Optiminal would be gaining 10 points out of that 33-point buffer, so it would end with them 23 points behind in that team's championship. Oh no, well obviously, well actually no, that was when Braxok was leading, so I need to redo that. But yeah, either way, there's still work to do is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they really need Patrick Hanko well out of the top 10 to make it feasible, and Schluter down in P3. So that'll be my judgment call on it. If there's going to be an optimal celebration at the end of today in terms of silverware. But at the moment, Brakshock, when we get him dialed in properly on the hard compound, his first time using the white striped tyre, we'll see how he's faring with those. Fournier, now that he finally has that great big obstacle course laid out by Callas, it's finally gone in his favour. He can now see the opportunity to catch up to Patrick Hanko. Most recently, Fournier was quicker, but only by 0.4 of a second, so he has to do that a few more times with Hanko on the harder tyre himself to make this a very fascinating moment for Optimal.
Yeah, well, Janos has got a bit of work to do, hasn't he? Because he's got to make up 10 seconds. Because I think Schluter and Brakshock, just excluding Ruben out of this conversation for a moment, Schluter and Brakshock have both got to stop again, and Janos is 10 seconds behind, but he is going quickly. He's going quick, but he's going to have to do that. Hard versus hard, but he's on a much fresher set, so. Yeah, interesting how it'll be very interesting to watch this play out.
Yeah, Brakshock at least has got the clear air in third, 8 seconds to Machete, who, as his teammate, you wouldn't expect Ruben is going to hold him up particularly, as we see Fournier absolutely sliding it in to the first corner. But yeah, that was nearly over 8 tenths quicker the previous lap with Schluter. It was Brakshock than Schluter. So he's absolutely charging there, and Ruben is still within about 2.5 seconds of him, matching Schluter's lap time, even on, in theory, a medium tyre that's been put through about the same sort of tyre stint, 15, 17 laps each.
Lucas Vishot just moved out of the way very neatly and elegantly, so Janos, to allow Janos to lap him. So Janos wasn't impeded at all by that, so that was a neat bit of tactical awareness by Lucas Vishot. Yeah,
well, there was also there was a report as in comes Machete, so that rules him out in terms of holding up Brakshock here. But there was a report against Lucas Viscott at Circuit of the Americas for holding up another. I think it was Patrick Hanko.
Yes.
Who was? It wasn't. There was he wasn't getting blue flags until Patrick's right behind him, and he moved out of the way almost immediately. So we ruled no further action in the stewards room at the end of that one, but it was it wouldn't surprise me if Viscott is got that on playing on his mind and is being much more careful whenever he sees someone coming to the back of him.
Yeah, well, he did a good job there for sure. The 9.6 seconds now, Brakshock to Schluter. Meshdi and Callas fighting into the second complex.
And Oldemaker past Fournier.
Machete's made it round. Wow, beautiful pass. That is such a tight sector. Turns 4, 5, 6, and wow, fabulous overtake into that very, very Mickey Mouse complex there.
Sander, that didn't look very tidy into 7. Yeah, great overtake completed there by Ruben Machete on his way back up the order. So another unhelpful moment in Sander Callas' race, but it's not the end of the world yet. He's got a huge gap over Yas Latinen, who's just by himself there in P9. Daniel Scott in the top 10 position there. Scott trying to perhaps equalize his medium tire stints, 18 and then 16, so it could be an 18 and 18 job coming for Daniel Scott, the Scotsman. Patrick Hanko, he's got to keep working here because Zolt sucks. Might be due a pit stop in a little while. This is a great opportunity for Patrick, whose tyres are now 20 laps old. He could certainly lift his game and try and force the Hungarian into a mistake, and that would definitely mean CMC Go Team's championship will be much more comfortable if Patrick can finish P4 behind his teammate Schluter's trying, of course, to go for second place. So if he can at least back up his teammate, then that means CMT Go Team will become the team's champions.
Yeah, I was just looking back to the Oldemaker Fournier move. I think Fournier had some sort of moment at that first chicane and then had to let Tom Oldemaker through on the run into turn 4, because he had a very slow lap, 1 minute 20.4, whereas Oldenmenger 1 minute 18.8, and he's now already catching up to the back of Hanko and Zux. So all of a sudden, late call into the pits for Zux there, just avoided by Hanko, who is now released. But unfortunately for him, Oldenmenger is going to keep him close company on those medium tyres that are performing very well at the present moment. So it'd be interesting to see if Zux is still able to undercut and keep himself in the game here.
Fournier pitting as well.
That's interesting to say the least. Maybe Jeffrey thinks this race is getting away from him a little bit after so many laps behind Callas. But now Zux is back on circuit. He's got a healthy gap over his teammate again. There we go. So there's no gain in the pits as they entered at the same time. So we got Latinen still too far back to make any impact here. So Callas and he figure out a strategy to suit his requirement here. He's going nearly 20 laps himself on the hard compound, which definitely might be on the bubbles. We're past halfway now, lap 37, well beyond the 50% mark at this stage. So if anyone wants to go for that 3-stopper like we expect Rackshock to do, then yeah, now will be a good time to pit.
Problem from Machete, he's been setting fastest laps of the race, but now he's caught right back up to Oldenmenger, who wants to fight with Hanko himself. So Reuven is going to have to make this move very, very sharpish, and now he's got an opportunity. DRS is about to open.
We could even get a bit of a double toe coming here as Hanko is in range. So there we go, step 1 complete for Reuven there, up to P4. He knows P3. It's his to lose at the moment after hitting a little while ago. Let's see what could come of this. But yeah, he's a little bit too far back at the moment. Yeah, Reuven with the 3rd set of medium tyres. He's looking very strong at the moment. Green sector 1 time for him. So Hanko, he's probably better off just letting him burn up until perhaps the stadium section and then just concede the place, because it's just too much work when he knows the stakes are very, very high for the Go team. He'll be down to Marza there in 11th place to try and pick up the damage if something was going to happen, a catastrophic event were to happen here. So there we go, distract as much as you can here, Patrick, and then realise that's as much as you can do.
Yeah, certainly if he can hold, because Reuven is a very direct threat to Schluter, and there we go, just about arrested the slide there. So Reuven, as expected, is not leaving anything on the table here. He's absolutely going for it, and he's closing inexorably down the straight as they go towards that first chicane. It's going to be Machete trying to go late on the brakes. He's got the momentum, and there Patrick Hanko knows the game is up, and his race is more with Oldenmenger than it is with Machete, who continues on his ways well in the pit window. Schluter now. So yeah, when Mark does pit, it could well be if Braxox having to do the extra stop, Machete on this sort of middling strategy may have to do an extra stop to use different compound at the end, maybe, because he's only used the mediums so far. He's surely going to have to use either the softs or the hards at some point.
You know how long ago Reuven last pitted?
4 laps ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a quick turnaround here for Reuven. Yeah, as Ed said, he has to use another compound of tyres to comply with the rules, and that's a shortcut there for Viscott. And George will say, yeah, this is my position. I'm going to take that. Unfair advantage would have been declared. So Lucas, he was going quickly though. It's not a case of the MV Conquest car breaking down or anything. He's still pretty fast, but yeah, he took a shortcut and he has to concede. And now Sander Callas, he'll be on the phone to his teammates saying, get out of my way, I'm going to have to lap you. It's urgent. So yeah, he'll know what's happening. But Tom Oldenmenger, he's closing Patrick Hanko down with his medium compounded tire, but he has to make some sort of judgment call in the next lap or two before too long, because yeah, he's on 18 lap old medium, so he took them longer than average in the first stint. Patrick Hanko on hard tires will be hard to beat when he's back on a softer compound, whatever he so chooses.
Yeah,
So,
Patrick's done 24 laps though.
Yes.
Janos Brakshock. I've been riding on board with him for a lap or so. He just had a very cheeky move. He was coming up to lap P13, Cosmo Pescuto, and Cosmo very diligently moved aside on the main straight, but Janos actually stayed on his gearbox, followed him across to the pit side of the main pit straight, just to get a bit of a draft from him, and then got a cheeky DRS from him as well. So Janos absolutely optimizing every potential opportunity, and he is now under 5 seconds to Mark Schluter. You'll think back just a few minutes and it was a 10-second gap. So Janos is absolutely on the charge and wanting to make this extra stop strategy of his work. It is going to be a grandstand finish between these two guys, so I can't wait.
There's the overtake from Tom Aldenmenger ahead of Patrick Hanko. Will feel very, very pleasing indeed. But the battle in the pit lane will surely play its part in this battle to try and be best of the rest. Sander Callas, not his finest performance of the season, but he has time to make up for it. Zolt and Jeffrey are together again, and they can surely work together towards the end of the race. He's due a pit stop very soon, so if these two guys can help each other with DRS and keep each other on their toes, then yeah, it's going to be really challenging for Callas to even finish P7. That'll be a huge effort for him.
Yeah, and let's reiterate, what a great performance this is so far from Tom Aldenmenger, who very nearly binned it in the early laps with that getting too far on the grass on the way into 6. But since then, he's absolutely kept it under control, used the tide L that he had, and that move on Hanko had been coming for a while. And yeah, he's just been a bit of a dark horse in this race. He's charging up. To be in P4 would be his second best result of the season as well. His next best after that podium was his P5 that he set in both Malaysia, Singapore and Kota as well. So yeah, Aldenmenger, he's had a lot of recovery drives, and this might be one of his best then to end the season.
Yeah, Tom, don't stop. Stick around. Come back for 2026. You're driving so well, you can't retire when you're going this well.
And we need you.
So he took his fresh mediums at lap 22. So probably lap 44, 45. They last a little bit longer, obviously, because lower fuel load and the track rubbering in. So his second stint can be a bit longer than his first stint. But he's working these mediums brilliantly. But he can certainly bring it home from lap 45 on a set of hards, no problem at all. So very straightforward strategy from Tom, and he's doing great work on the mediums. Always on the button with his tyre strategy.
Yeah, Daniel Scott there on the soft tyres, his teammate there. He's looking pretty impressive. Got a new personal best lap time there. Can he keep up that form? It's looking positive. If he can break the 118 ones or zeros, that'd be superb here for Daniel. Sander Callas, again, he still has to think about the pit stop very soon to make sure he can go to the end on this two-stopper. Yeah, at the moment, Optimo have him numbered at the moment. Latinen just a little bit too far back in the MV Conquest, so let us witness what will happen in just a short while. But Janos Brakshock here, the leader before the pit stop, he's almost back in command, but eventually those hard tires will have to go away. Perhaps another 15 laps, or maybe 10 laps I should say. 10 laps or under should be enough to allow him flexibility on his final stop. Loser, he's gone 27 laps on the hard compound tire, which is absolutely sensational.
Janos Brakshock is just about to get that extra 30 horsepower boost that you get when you can actually see the leader just in front of you.
Absolutely.
Aldenmenger pits.
Box, yeah.
1.7 seconds the gap.
Are they going to have Daniel Scott and Tom Aldenmenger following an identical strategy in terms of the ordering of the compounds? We will find out in just a moment. Otherwise, it'll be a hard tire stint to the end for Tom, but that's certainly damp squib if he goes for it, but he has gone for it, so he's going for safety first. If he can make those tires last to the end, that will definitely play Optimal's plan C. That'll definitely take a peg or two off of them. It'll be annoying if they have to deal with motivated Tom to conclude the season, and the team championship is still on the line here. But the gap, very, very difficult to overturn here, Ed. Let's see, as Schluter realizes it's time to box, Brashok can now plan his final stop himself in about 5 laps time or something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
he had to come in,
I
didn't he?
think-
Because he was going to get past. Anyway,
Well,
sorry.
he was losing a second a lap to him, and the other thing interesting about it is I think Schluter's going to have to take hards because he's a long way from home. Yeah, it looks like he has taken hards. Whereas another 10 laps or so, Janos is going to be able to put on mediums and have a big tyre advantage to bring it home. So this is a exciting battle to watch, and I've got to confess I'm kind of rooting here for Janos Brashok a bit because he has been so quick and so competitive, and he's been bold with his strategy. Hasn't always sort of played the easy way, the popular way, and will sometimes do that extra stop, and then you've got to drive like a man possessed to make it work, and he's doing exactly that.
At 45, we had Patrick Hanko in the pits. That will result in another hard tire stint, so he can definitely finish the race on this set of tires. He can just about make it. So, Patrick, you have to think very hard. He's behind Tom, of course. They're on an even keel. That's a chance to have a fight on the same compound. So we'll check out those drivers with Sander Kalas. He'll want to work his way up as he's behind Yassis. That's a real headache. Latina will play hard but fair. Let's see what Kalas can do. It's definitely been a tricky evening's work for him. But he's on the set of hards again, so he wants to get to the end. However, things pan out for him, but it's not been a highlight of his season by any stretch.
Yeah, I've just been looking at the team's championship points. Definitely expecting Zux and Fournier, who pitted about 8 or 9 laps ago, to have to come in again before the end. But if it finished like this, it would be full 46 points for Optimal, and I think about 30, yeah, not so many quite for Go Team. So it would be a 19-point swing, not quite the 33 that Optimal need. It was always going to be a bit of a uphill struggle when you're up against Mark Schluter as one of the drivers. But yeah, at the moment, it's sort of on the bubble. Hanko being jumped by Oldenmenger was quite crucial there. So Tom Oldenmenger just giving Optimal that little bit of hope that they can maybe overcome the margin there. Although Tom, I think, is more thinking about his own race and his own fight for 4th position, which essentially is what he's fighting for at the moment. But yeah, Schluter out, having pit early, he's committed very much to the 2-stop, trying to run the hards to the end. As you said, Brashok can put on a set of mediums, whereas Machete has not quite got the flexibility because he's only used the mediums so far. So Reuven is probably going to have to go, as you see Kalas going a bit off track as he tries to chase down Latinen. Reuven is going to have to go for either another very quick medium stint followed by softs or hards to the end at some point to sort of split the difference.
And Schluter is flying on his fresh hards. He's just done his personal best, which is a 17.7 and 0.8 of a second quicker than Brashok. So Schluter is going to pull this gap down, which is currently 19 seconds. I'm gonna take a punt and say there's going to be something like 15 seconds left of it by the time Janos hits. Janos is going to rejoin on a faster tyre, 5 to 7 seconds behind Mark, and have to catch him and pass him for the win.
Yeah, remember back to Spa, it was sort of a reverse scenario where Brashok tried something a bit different and was caught by Schluter in the final stint, wasn't he?
Yes, exactly. Brashok went for a very bold undercut onto a soft, and Schluter was not going to be persuaded. He knew which tyre he wanted to finish on. He knew how many laps you could get out of the soft and said, no, that's not the decision. We're going to stick to the plan, and prevailed in that instant.
Yeah, crucially this time Braxtock got Machete to help back him up then. Lap 48 of 71. Schluter's just set the fastest lap there. He's 1:17.5, so just over a second quicker than Braxtock's previous effort then. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be too much point in leaving Machete out though, is the problem, because he's not going to be able to hold up Mark Schluter for very long, and we know the only reason to keep him out is if you're sort of hoping to maybe put him on the softs at some point.
Well, I think even the medium is still going to give him a nice big tyre delta, and he doesn't want to put them. You don't want to put the medium on too hard, too soon, because he certainly. Well, what are we? We're 22 laps, 23 laps from the end. We're certainly in medium tyre territory, but you've got to remember, Janos has been doing 14 laps on his mediums, hasn't he? 14 or 15 laps, but that might have just been tactical to maximise the speed in the car. But Tom Oldenmenger, I think, did 22 on a full tank of fuel. So certainly Janos could come in and bolt on mediums anytime he likes, but he's going to want them to be in great condition when the battle ensues with Schluter on the hards, and maybe he doesn't want it and have a 18-lap-old tyre when he's joined in battle.
Yeah, and that's a good spot. Actually, Oldenmenger did 21 in the first stint and then 22 in the second stint with less fuel in the tank. So that second stint, if anything, even more impressive. And it was the one in which he was starting to make moves as well. So Schluter again sets fastest lap of the race, 1:17.4. He's 4 seconds behind Ruben Machete now, who's about 11.5 seconds behind Braxtock in the lead. And then there's 14 seconds between them and this fight for P4 between Zux and Fournier. And Zux, of course, and Fournier both started on the softs and then switched to the mediums for the following two stints, the second one, which are in the middle of. So they can put whatever tyre they want on to the end, essentially. I wonder what they're going to try and do. I would suspect Zux and Fournier are going to try and sort of palindrome their strategy and maybe hold out for the softs a bit later on so that they can maybe charge back past the likes of Oldenmenger and Hanko and Callas.
Yeah, just intriguing. Think back to Oscar Piastri in the final race at Abu Dhabi, where they left him out for so long that Max had almost caught him, and when he came back out, he just didn't have enough laps left to catch Max Verstappen. I think that's the Janos Braxtock situation at the moment. 16-second gap, 17-second gap to Schluter, 22-second pit stop. So if he pitted now, he's got 6 seconds to make up by the end of the race. Personally, I think it's just about time for him to pit, because every lap he stays out there is the thick end of a second. He's got to make up at the end, and but I guess he can potentially go 0.8 of a second faster than Schluter when he's on a fresher and faster tyre. But it's yeah, I know I bang on about tyres a lot, but when the standard is this high of the driving, it does get really quite interesting what the teams are doing.
Yeah, and I think those first two stints where Braxton was only able to get 15 laps at the medium tyre were quite telling. That the reason he's still out there is because he's really worried. He wants to switch to mediums, but he's worried about getting them to the end. Doesn't want to have to do too much nursing of these tyres then. Tom Oldenmenger, by the way, the lap before this set a personal best lap of the race, which was 1:18.2. So he's starting to close in just a little bit on Zux and Fournier, 7.5 seconds in front of him then. But of course, they still owe us a pit stop, so their hand is going to be forced in the next couple of laps or so as we get to the closing stages.
They'll rejoin 15 seconds behind Tom then, so that will look very clever. I jokingly called that a bit of Tom Oldenmenger tyre strategy magic in one of the earlier rounds.
Yeah, he's been doing it for years and years and years, and not in the Pro Championship before he moved up to World Championship as well. That he was sort of one of the absolute masters. We see Ruben Machete nearly hitting the back by Schluter as he dives for the pits there, and that will cost Mark only maybe a couple attempts there in that one moment, as I think he just had to lift very slightly off the throttle. But nonetheless, his charge continues. 14.5 seconds, or 15.3 seconds on screen at the moment.
You want to know the funniest thing? He stole the DRS. He stole a bit of a DRS from him as well.
So there we go then. Reuven disappearing at the right moment. Amir Oates says again. It's not the last time. Not the first time he's done that. So yeah, Reuven clearly, I think, a little bit bitter about the contact earlier on. That I'd nearly forgotten about until that point. You're absolutely right. They bumped into each other 2 times already in this race, and that was nearly a third. But yeah, Reuven Amir says it should be a drinking game. How many times Machete and Schluter come to blows on track? But Machete has gone for the softs. So yeah, that was sort of what we expected him to do, wasn't it? Go more aggressive in this final stint, and that's put Machete sort of behind his 2 teammates, Zux and Fournier. You wouldn't expect them to hold him up for too long.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing you can do when you've got 2 teammates in front of you, I guess. It's still a pretty decent stint length on soft. Although Jeffrey Fournier would say different. He'd say that's easy.
Yeah, there we go. But of course, Jeffrey's sort of spent a lot of the race stuck behind Callas, where he's a bit frustrated, and Zux, for his part, has been able to clear him now, and now Fournier's in a sort of an enviable position of once more following another car throughout most of the Mexican Grand Prix. But yeah, nonetheless, optimal. And sort of, the problem is they can shuffle the cars however they want. The problem is with Schluter still on the podium, it does restrict what they can really do in terms of that team's championship. But if they can get the gap down as close as possible, at least it creates a little bit of tension at the end of the season. And of course, there is still Hanko versus Callas, about 8 seconds between them, but Callas not really gaining, in fact losing 4/10 that previous lap as Jesse Lattinen enters the pits for what should be his final stop. And you can see Machete has already just chewed through the road between himself and Jeffrey Fournier, and now he's going to be on the blower, asking to be let through, almost certainly.
Brackshock's gone around again. So what are we down to a 15 lap stint?
Oh, Reuven! Oh, good save from him over the curb there. But a little bit too much confidence and bravery over the curbs, and nearly disaster for Reuven Machete there, while fighting his teammates, no less. But that really shows you that it is all on the line here. And yeah, Reuven Machete taking as many risks as possible to try and get through. So luckily, Zux and Fournier probably not aware of what happened until that moment, as we see Matt Toussaint getting very close to the wall at the final corner as he fights with his teammates Alagianis and Prosciutto. The American in the Go team is really starting to put pressure on the both of them. May only be the battle for P12, but a lot of pride at stake for all 3 of these drivers who are very capable of big results. Fournier has decided to pit out of the way of Reuven Machete, and he is going to emerge, I think, just ahead just of Nando Massa, but behind Sander Callas.
Yeah, that was a Dukes of Hazzard save that Reuven did there.
Nando Mars in the box as well. Now that
Janos has got a pit. You've got to pit Janos. Otherwise, you're going to be 11 seconds behind.
Yeah, Mark Schluter's really put him in a difficult position here. 9 lap-old hards versus Braxuk on 24 lap-old hards. Again, it's, I think, what I said earlier, that Braxuk is so terrified of running out of medium tyres at the end of this one that he's extending the stint thinking, well, I can just pass Mark at the end. But I think it's easier said than done. He's giving himself a lot of work to do here. And Reuven Machete sliding all over the show. He's not going to be able to help him very much.
The other subtle thing about his stint length is if he had decided to commit to a 3-stop strategy, he's going to need to absolutely rag those medium tyres, take the absolute best out of them, and once their best is gone, box and put another set on. So that's probably half the story of the 15-lap stint. There's no sense running long if you've taken the best out of them. So if you're doing a Tom Oldenmenger and strategically saying, right, I'm 2-stopping, and you want to do 21, 22, that's fine. But if you're going to 3-stop, you've got to absolutely rag those tyres, and once they're not giving you the performance, grab another set and get out there and go quick again. So I think he probably could do more.
Fournier and Zux. And Jeff gets back in front. So
Janos is pitting.
Oh, this is big, yeah. This is the moment. Janos to finally break his spell after finishing second behind Schluter on my commentary debut at the Belgian Grand Prix. It happened again at Kota. This is his final chance in 2025 to beat the champion on pure pace. It needs to be a faultless stop. It needs to be an absolute incredible outlap. He has the gap to Machete, so it's a 1v1 situation now for the win. And Brashok on his medium tyres has to push with all he's got to close the gap of about 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds before this day is done. Yeah, careful on the inside curb there, don't want to lock up while these tyres are getting up to temp.
Yep, so that's going to be fascinating to see as we see Prosciutto, these drivers all being lapped by Oldenmenga. Prosciutto takes advantage to pounce around the outside of George Zalagianis, and you can see Tucson having to slow them through as well. Oh, and Zalagianis nearly late on the brakes. Him and Prosciutto did come to blows in Suzuka last time out. I think there was a big incident between the two of them that narrowly avoided disaster there. And now Cosmo looks to the inside. The man from Boston takes that 12th position away from Matt Tucson. So 2 ground effect cars dealt with in quick succession, and that is Prosciutto being ever the opportunist, taking advantage of the blue flags to go in his favour.
Nice work there, Prosciutto. Pit lane for Daniel Scott.
We've been mispronouncing his last name differently all day,
yeah,
I think.
I probably got it wrong. I'll take your word for it, Ed.
I think as long as he's through, he won't mind too much. But nah, it's all good.
Scott, though, he has another pit. It's experimental at this stage, using soft to complete his second half of the race. And yeah, he can pick up some points on debut, no matter what, after Elequez DNF. So he will be worthy of 1 championship point no matter what. But for 11th place, 5 sounds a lot nicer on the CV.
Brackshock clearing Lucas Vishot. Sorry to cut over you there.
No problem.
Just an important moment lapping, as we discussed earlier. Gets past him with no incidents. Gap now to the lead 7.5 with 14 laps to go. Anybody want to put in any thoughts on it? Any gentleman's bet of who we might put the money on? My money's on Brackshock for the win.
Oof, yeah, it's quite likely, but Schluter's defensive game, you can never count it out. So yeah, Brashok, I think he's got his platform set up correctly. But yeah, it doesn't matter what the chessboard looks like, you can still wriggle away out until it's checkmate. So we don't know for sure, but yeah, Brashok has to believe in himself that today is his day. But a lovely pass there from Fournier, who's now showing what we were unable to see in the earlier parts of the race when Callis just kept blocking him lap after lap here. Fournier now has the job of catching Patrick Hanko and making it a little bit more hopeful for Optimal in the Teams Championship. It's not enough, as I have to emphasize. If Hanko stays in 7th or 8th even, that'll be plenty. But Schluter, his bid to win for the 6th time, a 6% success ratio on the line here for the brand new champion against the fella who's been denied 3 times by the German. It is Janos Brashok's job to win this race. But so it sucks. He's got Callas neck and neck here. The DRS will help him by Ed. Here we go. This is the pass.
Yeah, I think Callas, unfortunately, has not got a whole lot to fight with on the hard tyres. He's done 14 laps on this point, whereas Fournier and Zux have just pit, and they are going pretty quickly indeed. Fournier 116.8, so only a tenth slower than Braxok, also on the mediums. But yeah, the problem for Janos, I think, is, as David rightly pointed out, is that Schluter sort of, by being able to get the tyres to last, going so long on the hards, he's kind of put Braxok into a difficult position. But I think Janos has certainly got the pace to get back through here. At the moment, he is closing by, was 1.3 seconds per lap. That last lap, 117.2. So 8 tenths quicker on the last lap then. So it's a matter of time now. Can Schluter keep it consistent? And will Braxok get the opportunities? He goes as close to the wall as he dares as he gets on the brakes into the first corner there. So Janos is certainly going to throw caution to the wind in this final phase of the race, because so many times he's been denied that win, driving in the World Championship since I think 2018, 2019. So it's been many, many years that he's so many races that he's tried to go for victory. He's been on pole several times. He's been on the podium at least 6 or 7 times, the runner-up, but always the bridesmaid and never the bride. And Now, the golden opportunity is within his grasp, but he's got to make sure he doesn't slip up at the final hurdle here and that he overcomes the top driver in the championship, which indeed is Mark Schluter.
Yeah, he's certainly doing what he needs to do at the moment. He's down to 4.7 second gap. He's come up against lap traffic now in the form of Daniel Scott, so hopefully Daniel Scott's situational awareness will be what it needs to be. But certainly it's the place you want this to happen on the main straight. Janos dragging every little bit of slipstream out of that encounter, and maybe with a bit of luck you'll have some DRS in a moment as well. No, it doesn't get DRS from Scott.
And he does. It says so on the graphic, but
okay, yeah,
the problem is Scott is on the softs and he's recently pit, so he's going quite quickly. Is the problem for him, as we see Machete making his final stop of the race for another set of softs then. That puts Oldenburger on the podium. Wow, there we go. It does give a place to Hanko, of course, but Machete definitely risking it here, and he might even come out behind Fournier. Fournier could undercut him here.
You are correct. Brackshock did get DRS from that lapped car. Thank you very much, Daniel Scott. I just had the wrong angle. My camera angle was a bit wrong to pick it up.
Oh, it's almost like Amir on the broadcast. It's showing us more of the race than you were saying, David. But I'm sure that's not true. But anyway, Machete should get the go ahead, and he's gone for the mediums actually for the final stint. So he again is also worried about running out of tyres in the final stint. And Geoffrey Fournier starting to just hold him up ever so slightly here, so he'll have to make his mind up very, very soon whether he's going to let Reuven through here or not, because this is where Reuven nearly lost it a few laps ago.
Yeah, watching and waiting for this team discussion to play out in real time. Fournier, now that he has his best form of the race going, he won't want to be too generous either. He wants slipstream in exchange if Machete is going to be able to overtake. But on board of Patrick Hanko, his tyre life is one lap better than Tom's, so this is a fair fight.
Yeah, and Reuven, if he's not let through here, could have to fight really hard to catch up to them.
Yeah, that's
so
gonna be a close one.
Legitimate podium on for Tom Oldenburg at the moment, but Hanko, desperate to take it back off him, is there we go. Reuven is let through, but even now he's got quite the job to do to catch these in 10 laps.
Absolutely a huge effort required. Patrick Hanko perhaps missed his apex there in a bit of intimidation, maybe he could say, on trying to put Tom off, but we know Tom very well. He's not going to allow silly mind games to affect his efforts tonight. But what has to be done is the Optiminals have to get a double podium just to say we made it a great defense of the title to try and keep it away from the Go team. But if it's going to be a single podium for Janos Bradshaw, it will be a super party for them in that respect to get Janos' chance to win for the first time in 2025. But if it's not to be for Optimal this campaign, then they want to be on the podium with two cars just to say we did our very best.
Yeah, and if they can win with 3 different drivers, that would be quite extraordinary, given that Schluter and Hanko have been the only other winners, essentially, along with Reuven and of course, Geoffrey Fournier. But yeah, Tom Oldenburg will never have been more determined than this to hold on to this P3. But yeah, Patrick Hanko desperate to end the season on a high with another podium, and to see Tom Oldenburg fighting against a race winner and the McGorgy rookie champion, essentially, of the season. This is very, very impressive to see Tom signing off in this way. And yeah, whatever happens, I think all these drivers can definitely hold their heads very, very high indeed. Braxock absolutely closing on Schluter these last couple of laps in the low 117s, over a second a lap quicker. So it's a matter of where's he going to make the move and how hard is Mark Schluter going to defend this?
Yeah, Janos needs to figure out how aggressive to be. He's got 8 laps left, and his tyres are in their optimum condition that they're going to be for that 8-lap journey right this second. So he wants to pounce as soon as he can, but he doesn't want to destroy his tyres and have any chance of Schluter coming back at him. But at the moment, it just looks like Schluter's falling down back into his grasp. He's just got the pace in this car.
At least you can tell Oldenburger using a little bit of push to pass there, just to make sure that Patrick Hanko doesn't quite get the advantage of DRS close enough to pass him, essentially. But yeah, as you say, Braxock is absolutely on the charge and is very much the one to watch out.
Of course, Ed, we are going to have to keep every piece of data in mind here, because we have the battle for the win, we have the battle for the podium, and if Sander Callas can rebound at the end, he could potentially threaten Zolt Sux there, and potentially, of course, Latino versus Marza. That's a battle we have to savour over as well. So a lot is going on, and Brašok is closing right down. Next DRS zone should be compliant with the rules. This is a moment, not the moment. There's time enough in hand for Brašok to have a think. But there it is, the DRS flap is wide open. He's hugging the inside as best he can, but he'll say to Mark Schluter, now how does it feel? You are the hunted for once. I'm going to get you.
Well, he's certainly going to be banking on that. Unleash your beast, it says on the back of Schluter. I think the beast is getting a bit too close for comfort here. But nonetheless, Braxock has certainly turned the wick up a little bit. And Schluter, as we see Oldenburger making contact with the front wing of Hanko through the first chicane there. So Patrick Hanko going for a dive and it not quite working out. You can see Ruben Machete 1.8 seconds behind as they fight like crazy in front of him. Round the outside goes Patrick Hanko into 4 and 5, and that's going to leave Oldenburger on the outside. He gets pushed wide. They go side by side, and this is all playing into Ruben's hands.
Oh, Ruben's right there. He is on position immediately, thanks to that battle in the 4, 5, and 6 complex. Taking a lot of extra curb there, but we'll have to see part 2 of Brašok's attempt to win the race. It's lap 65, another 7 to go. And there he is, he's through, but he needs to brake on time. He has. And there's one last chance for Schluter here to regain the lead before these medium tyres will surely guide Brašok to victory. There it is, it's already half a second. Schluter has to think very hard about how he's going to win this, if at all. Going very aggressive into the 4th corner, and there we go. Brašok should be all clear to win this race and make it a maiden win for himself.
Yeah, only thing to worry about now is keeping those mediums alive to the end for Janos, isn't it? But crucial move, and that's going to be a lovely feeling for him if he can pull this one off and get the monkey finally off his back here in Mexico. It's Brianna Sprax is going to be saying, I wish we raced in Mexico more seasons. I would have won ages ago, I think, at the end of this. But nonetheless, Ruben Machete now all over the back of Oldenburger. Can Tom at least hold on to P4 under huge pressure from the returning Ruben here? And Ruben, I think, definitely wants to go at Patrick Hanko to at least get, as you say, 2 optimal cars on the podium here. But he's running out of laps. This was always going to be the problem with that strategy of having to do the extra pit stop. That he's got to make the moves, and he's not just taking a one at a time, but both at the same time, essentially.
Yeah, Ruben's entire season, I'm sure he's tired of me saying it, but yeah, it's been a boom and bust campaign. No points since his victory in Austria 6 rounds ago, so he just needs to figure out a way to break up this battle. He shouldn't lunge in for the double at the same time unless it's an extraordinary 3-wide situation. He has to be cerebral here and look at Oldenburger's pace and try and snatch that position away from him first, and then worry about the duel with the Go team and Patrick Hanko. Sander Callas will not be there, but there's the dive bomb for turn 1, but turn 2, Tom has the better sort of glide into the corner. That'll help him defend the chicane. But coming up to turn 4, that's a whole different prospect. There are lots of lines you can take through here thanks to the squiggly section, and once again Tom is defending with all he's got, pushing him out wide, and a slide for Ruben Machete. Oh goodness gracious, that's great news for Patrick Hanko, and indeed Jeffrey Fournier as well, who's now entered the fray.
Yeah, even Zolt Sux isn't that far behind either. So Tom Oldenburger doing a mighty job holding up 3 optimal cars at the same time, practically single-handed. So he is really having to push the boat out here. And yeah, as you say, Patrick Hanko escaping up the road. But Tom, I think even a P4 would still be amazing as he has a big moment. into turn 12, and that's going to let both of them through, surely at least Reuven, and there goes Jeffrey as well. So the hards are just fading away at the back of Tom's car there, just a slide on the brakes, and that was all it took.
Zalt Sucks will be smelling an opportunity himself here, and how cruel it would be for Tom to lose out like this. Of course, Fournier's slipstream will help him out just a little bit for remaining 5 laps or so, but he's not done just yet. If these medium tire burn out with all the hard work that Fournier has been doing, 17 laps and 19 laps have been his maximum capacity, so there isn't a guaranteed success here for Fournier just yet. But Machete, he had to get through with these better compound tires on the 3-stop strategy. So it's his chance to catch Patrick Hanko and at least tell the CMT Go team we're not going to rest on our disappointment. We're going to make it as hard as possible for you to say you're the champions on their crowning day, with Patrick Hanko right in position now to make sure CMT Go team will be the team's champions in 2025.
Yeah, and Hanko and Machete, the two top rookies of the season. They did a couple of races last season, but still technically qualify as rookies. And Machete, 4/10 quicker in the first sector and another 3/10 in sector 2 here. So he's still got a chance here, as you see Oldermega desperately trying to fight off Zux to hold on to P6 here. But I think Tom has just run out of tyres.
That he has, yes.
DRS as well for Zux.
Absolutely, that's the extra boost needed there for Zoll to make the overtake, and it's just too much to ask of Oldenmenger to hold on any longer. But Reuven Machete, is he on target, David? Can he close the gap on Patrick?
Well, I'm just blown away by the fact that between 3rd place and 7th place is under 4 seconds, 69 laps into this race. That's incredibly close, incredibly competitive.
Especially when you consider Patrick Hanko's another 37 seconds behind. That's how much they've all been fighting and holding each other up in this fight for 3rd.
Track map tells the story there. You can see the leaders should be done through the first chicane right now as the guys enter the stadium section with their onboard view of Machete over the shoulder. And here we go. Patrick is not quick enough. Sector 2 tells the story. Half a second the advantage for Machete in that part of the circuit alone. He loses out with the dirty air, but that's not a problem because the DRS is coming, and this should be Reuven Machete with the very aggressive pit strategy. He's going to be on DRS. He has the braking zone, but the cutback is blocked. Hanko, I could sense he was trying to brake a little bit earlier for the switchback, but it's all out of his control now. Reuven Machete back up to P3, but a long way back from Schluter.
Reuven positioned his car beautifully there, exactly where Hanko needed to be if he wanted to come back at him. So that was a very clinical overtake, and at the same time looking after what might happen in the second phase.
I have to say, a strategy to go soft medium at the end and do basically a 4-stop strategy for Machete was aggressive, but it has put him in his position where he's lost so much time to the leaders compared to where he was. He was about 12-13 seconds behind them before he made that decision to pit for the softs and then the mediums. So yeah, it certainly made things more entertaining, so I'm glad he did it, but I think maybe Reuven wanted to put on a show to fight back up to P3 rather than finish a distant P3 of not much action.
Yeah, well, maybe he figured he was going to be 3rd anyway, so he may as well have the fastest lap of the race.
True.
That's one way to end it, but penultimate lap here, folks. And Janos Brashok, he's been taunted all year long. He's been pushing so hard since his podium at the Silverstone event that marked the halfway point of the season. That was his breakthrough moment in 2025. And then since I've been watching him, he's been absolutely superb, but just not enough to beat Schluter on each occasion that I've been watching him. So here we go, around the corner for his final lap to start right now. He's got the lead of nearly 4 seconds. He's going to lap Marza in just a moment. Nando Marza could be lapped if Janos wants to throw caution to the wind, or else he can just glide the car around the braking zones and get the job done. But Yasser Latinen and Nandor Marza are going for a battle for position here. There we have it. And the lapped car there should be...
It's Aljanis, isn't it?
Should be... Yeah, it's Aljanis, I'd say, yes. Should be George there. So, perfect, good call, Ed. So we'll see if that battle can rage on, but if Janos Brashok hangs back, then they do have that final opportunity to go for the fight. And there we go, Brashok enters turn 7 right now. Lucas Viscott is going to be under threat of a third lapping as well. So there we go, lots going on. The very technical stadium sections coming, and that should help Brashok just nurse this car home. The crowds will no doubt be on their feet. I hope all of our viewers on YouTube are going to be excited for this moment as Janos Brashok, he's been trying all year long for Optimal, and he's finally broken through the glass ceiling set by Schluter. He wins the final round of the season here in Mexico City. He gets his moment at last, and Schluter will definitely help the party last all night long for CMT Go Team. Once Patrick Hanko crossed the line, we'll know for definite that the team's championship belongs to CMT Go Team. But Machete will have his chance now to solidify Optimal's performances today and get that third position.
Yeah, certainly. Brilliant win for Brashok. Huge moment for him. It's not just been the whole year. He's been waiting, as I say, 7 or 8 years to get this win. As we see Machete return to the podium in the final race of the season, and after some misfortune in the middle part of the season where his title campaign fell apart, it's good to see him end on a high and round out the podium just ahead of his fellow rookie Patrick Hanko, of course the rookie champion. But I think Machete certainly proved his point in that last race of the season.
I think Yasser Latinen has failed to make the finish.
Was he out of fuel?
It's on fuel.
Oh,
extraordinary.
that's well, he'll still be classified 10th, I think, because he was a lap ahead of Scott.
He won't lose.
He loses that P9 to Marsa.
Oh yeah, he loses to Marza, of course. Yeah, he won't lose the top 10. So that's one way to look about that battle for Nandor Marza is a success by default, but Janos Brashok, there we go. He can finally taste a bit of success. He's warranted this victory today, without a doubt in my mind. Won it on the combination of strategy and also the fact that he qualified so brilliantly as well to get the pole position on the tiebreaker. Let's not forget it was a few seconds earlier on circuit that made the difference in that tiebreaker, and he'll have his celebratory donuts before he's summoned into the special parking zone here for the podiums for the podium drivers. And maybe the clutch has been burned there.
That's
He's gone
exciting.
in reverse. Moving in reverse.
He's doing a Sebastian Vettel from Canada, deciding that he's come third.
Zux, that's Zux. That's not Reuven, it's Zux.
Zux, beg your pardon. Zux is saying I finished third. So yeah, he's blocking Reuven's position. And Tom is going to say I'm worthy of this celebration as well. So FSR stewards will have a bit of protocol to enforce here, so they won't be too happy. But Mark Schluter, I hope that's Mark Schluter anyway. He's having his donuts before. Yeah, screen grab that frame. He'll definitely recall our 2:05. I'll give him that time code. And the engine goes bang as everyone.
I think Go Team having a barbecue.
Yeah, there we go.
2 barbecues.
Yeah, the equipment can now be retired. It's not needed anymore. But happy days.
Well, I just want to say about Janos Brashok's win that he not only scored the win, but he did it in absolute style because he had incredible pace, a bold strategy, and I think I was the most nervous person about his final pit stop. Whether was he going to pit too early, was he going to pit too late, but judged it to perfection and won in style. So congratulations to Janos Brashok, the Formula SimRacing World Championship winner.
Yeah, well said there, David, and thank you very much for introducing me to the series as we paired up for the first time at Spa-Francorchamps. So I really appreciate your leadership throughout this campaign. So very much appreciated.
No, thanks for having me.
And indeed, Ed, many thanks to you as well for doing the double tonight. Very, very helpful. I know you very well over the years, so it's great to have the familiarity, of course.
No worries, I'm the president. That's what I do.
Exactly, yes. Let's summarize the results, the provisional results, once more in full. Janis Brashok is the winner, his first in 7 years of trying, according to Ed there, so I'll take his word for it. Mark Schluter, P2, the champion, just kept himself out of danger and worked his socks off to secure second. Ruven Machete back in the points for the first time since the summer, pretty much. He's finally able to say, I'm on the podium again. Patrick Hanko, fourth position, guarantees CMT Go team the team's championship, and therefore his second place in the drivers' championship. Jeffrey Fournier, Zolt Sux, pretty much tied together all day long, 5th and 6th. Tom Aldenmenger, P7 there. So delightful to see him perform as well as he did before those tires gave up. Sander Callas in 8th place. He'd be disappointed with that, but a great effort nonetheless. Nandor Marza, best of the rest there in P9. And Yassi Latinen out of petrol, but he still gets P10. On to the second page of results. Daniel Scott in the other Vega Valley picks up 5 points on debut, so well done to him as the substitute. Cosmo Basciuto is 12th. The American can be pretty proud of that, but of course his drive in Suzuka was his best of the season. George Zalogianis, Matthew Toussaint, and Lucas Viscott complete the points finishers, and Saba Elakez is the only retirement of the entire evening's competition. So a shame for Saba, but still he picked up some mighty fine results in this campaign. And or actually no, he didn't. He DNF'd in the last 2 rounds, but yeah, it's good to see him pushing on as best he can. So yeah, hope for more from Saba next season. And without further ado, it should be time for the interviews. So we'll have a chance to chat with hopefully all of our podium setters. And Ruven is in.
Ruven's in the waiting room. So just perhaps while we wait for the last couple of podium places and championship podium, shall we maybe just mention the winter series that's coming up in 3 weeks' time?
Please do. Yes,
absolutely. Yes.
So anybody out there who enjoys sim racing and open wheeler cars and has a good driver standard, if you want to get involved in Formula Sim racing and get up and compete against some of the best drivers in the world, a great way to get your feet wet and have a bit of a go at it is Janis Brashok's just asked us for 5 minutes, which is totally understandable. He's probably in a lather of sweat and adrenaline. As Murray Walker would have said, he must be sweating buckets of adrenaline in that car. But we have a winter series coming up, which is a bit more low key. It's a bit of fun, but you'll be racing with some of the best drivers in the world. And that kicks off in 3 weeks. It's 3 Sundays, the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th. And we're going to be in one of the Tatis Formula 3 cars. And we'd love you to sign up and come and have a go. There'll be a 30-minute race followed by a 15-minute race. And it's called the Formula Sim Racing Winter Series Road to FSR. So please pop that in your diary. It will be streamed, but come along to the Formula Sim Racing Discord or the website with any questions you might have. And we'd love to have you join us for a bit of fun over the winter series.
Yeah, sorry, I've been a bit quiet because I've literally just been setting up the sign up. So, so we can go live with that pretty much after this is done. So that sign up's going to be on the forum. And you said get your feet wet. There's going to be live weather in it because we are going to be allowing the use of changeable weather and wet tires in the winter series. So that's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, that's
well.
Just adds so much fun and so much immersion.
Bit of a taster for 26 and the main season too.
Yeah, exactly. When you're preparing for a race weekend, you've got to physically look at the real world weather when you're deciding whether or not you have to have a wet setup in your back pocket and what that wet setup might involve. Personally, I got involved in Formula Sim racing several years ago via the Winter Series, which was a great honour to get on the grid and try to score points. in the Winter Series, and then got signed up by a team. So it's just a lovely way to meet people, and hopefully get match made with a team and get the help that you need to succeed in the season proper. So yeah, highly recommended.
Yeah. Shall we? I think we covered that, and I agree with the sentiment completely. Shall we get Reuven in? Because while he's waiting, I
please
think
do,
our third place man probably wants to talk to us. We did talk to him after Pro, and he was very happy about winning the Pro Teams Championship with his
I'll
drivers.
drag him in.
Let's hear from him. Right. I guess I'll do the interview since I'm here. But you guys feel free to chuck in any questions. Reuven, are you there? Well done on the P3, and thanks to pitting for softs and then mediums in the last two stints to basically put yourself a pit stop behind and make it more interesting as you fell in the middle of that battle between Older Menga and Hanko. That was a lot of fun to watch. Was it fun to drive?
Yeah, hello. Okay, now it works.
can hear you.
Yeah, it was definitely the choice to go more after fun. I mean, I could have also pitted for the hard tire, just like Mark did, going for 2 stints, but I knew I didn't have the pace today to ultimately catch him. I mean, as always, I started today practicing, but yeah, wasn't ideal to pace today. I think in quali my lap was really messy. P3 was a good result. And then, yeah, just lacked race pace, to be honest. But it was a fun race in the end of the day.
Brilliant. Do you have anything to say about the collisions with Mark Schluter in the early stints? Because
controversy.
Because there were a couple.
I mean,
or do you want to leave it till later?
I mean, it's the end of the season. I think for Mark personally, I don't know if he had damage or if it was race deciding for him, but I think it affected me in the end more. I think the first one into turn, I think 6 or 5 is it, where he slightly touched my back where I lost the car a bit, and the second one is, I think, on me, as my angle into that corner was not good enough, so I made the corner, and so that's on me. But in the end of the day, I think it would have been that deciding. It would have been, yeah, changing anything. So, yeah, happy to finish on a podium for my final race. As yeah, the season was really messy. I mean, from one point to a maybe underdog situation for the title, to then to have no chance basically, as I lost the motivation, and it wasn't even planned that I drove to drive this year as a primary, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, sorry. I got a bit distracted there because people are criticizing my choice of Mexico as the season finale. But Reuven, from a personal level, it was great to see you end the season on a podium because obviously that middle phase, as you say, it did slip away and there was a lot that wasn't going your way. Let's put it that way. But you took 2 wins this season, and to end on a high, I think it's really, really brilliant. I do hope we see you back next season if you choose to give World Championship another go. Owen, David, any questions for our third place, man?
No, just well driven. Great to see you performing at such a high level and back on track, Reuven. So a sign of things to come in 2026, I hope. So well driven on a great podium in what was a really, really competitive fight for third. It was incredible.
Yeah, we will definitely see. I will definitely be a primary for next year. I can confirm that. So you will see me next time, but this time also planned.
Yeah, I suppose, Reuven, ever since I joined the team, your luck has totally evaporated. But I suppose I want to ask, what is your happiest moments of the 2025 FSR World Championship?
I think it was Austria, because that lap, that qualifying, that pace that I showed that day, it was basically the most dominant drive I had this year, and yeah, overall, I'm just great about the team performance. As I am more getting into that CEO role or the manager role for Optimal. It's nice to see the team progressing, and yeah, I think the most happy moment is, I think, for the team.
Oh, brilliant. Well, anyway, thank you very much for talking to us, Amir. There's another team that's lining up to talk to us as well. But well done to Optimal on not just runners-up in drivers and teams in World Championship, but also for their victory in drivers and teams in the Pro Championship, which you were, as we talked about in the Pro broadcast, you were a big part of. So it's been lovely to talk to you, my friend, and it's good to see you back to your best right at the end.
Yep, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
See you,
I can
Riven.
see
Good luck.
Mark Schluter in the waiting room. So shall I bring Mark in, our champion and second
We could
place
save a bit of
driver?
time and bring an all of Go team.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the team's champions.
So that way Janos isn't overshadowed later if he comes in. But anyway, we are now joined by Go team, team boss and driver Cosmo Bushido, our second place man and world champion Mark Schluter, and our own McGorgy Cup rookie champion and podium finisher Patrick Hanko. So was he on the podium? I think he was. Yeah, I'm forgetting the race now.
Hanko was fourth.
Fourth. Okay, it was nearly the podium. Okay, I was almost got it right. But anyway,
Janos is in the waiting room too. Well, I'll bring Janos in.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
forget.
makes sense.
Okay, well, we'll do everyone. Never mind. Okay, so let's start off with Mark first, our champion, because it was a very close qualifying session, wasn't it, between you and Janos, Mark? It could not have been much closer. A brilliant start and a close battle throughout, but in the end, Janos just got past you at the end. The two-stop, the hards weren't quite quick enough to hold him off. So, obviously, a brilliant season nonetheless. But how do you feel at the end of the Mexico Grand Prix?
We achieved everything what we wanted to do at this year. But my other eye is a bit in tears because just missed out on the win by 2 seconds. I think the pace for with the two-stop was there, but just lost too much time in the first stint to Janos. That's I think was the difference maker today.
Well, nonetheless, it's another second place, and it seems, I think, all apart from one race, you finished first or second throughout the season. So across 10 races, that's an exceptional record. Mark, are there any thoughts about coming back to defend the title, or are you gonna see how you feel in 26? Because it's been brilliant having you as part of this championship.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the time brings. I would love to continue. The team is great. Great spirit. So yeah, let's see what the future holds.
Well, congratulations on not just the drivers' championship, but the team's championship as well. You've earned it, and of course, there will be a prize money check coming your way in the near future. So look out for that. Any questions for the new champion?
And I just want to say it's been a real pleasure watching you race this season, Mark. You've set a really high standard, and I think you set a standard that made the other guys find more to come and get you. So, but it was certainly very exciting for us all. So thank you and well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments, Mark. Absolutely remarkable driving from yourself this campaign. I suppose you've got lots of happy memories, so I presume you can't pick one out straight away. But if you do have one, what would you pick?
Oh, I think it's probably the 1-2 in Suzuka last time out with my last lap overtake to get the 1-2.
Oh, of course, yes. Fair play. Thanks very much, Mark. So good stuff. Do we move on now to Patrick?
Let's talk to Patrick Hanko then, who I erroneously tried to give the podium, which Ruben will be love after that interview I gave where I said such nice things about him. Anyway, Patrick, a bit of a down race. You end at P4. You're on the defensive for quite a lot of it. Obviously, a lot of pressure to bring home the team's championship, even with the 33-point advantage going in. Obviously, just lost the podium to Reuven in the closing stages after a great fight with Tom Oldenmenger in his final race as well. So how do you feel? It's the end of a very, very strong rookie season.
And especially in the beginning, I was fighting with Rowan, and it was a nice fight and clean fight. And then I went beyond the white line and got a track limit warning. I slowed down to not get any penalty points, and I lost like 1 second, and I still got the penalty point, and that's when I completely lost the top 3 and had to defend. Then made more mistakes, and then since lap 5 I had 2 out of 3 penalty points for track limit. So I just had to make sure until the end of the race I don't get any track limit warning, and yeah, luckily I did that, but made many mistakes. So yeah, I'm happy for P4.
Yeah, and I think that also put you behind Callis in the first stint, didn't it? Who was defending like an absolute rock and not letting anybody by unless he absolutely had to. So you really had to fight for that P4 then. But yeah, otherwise a very entertaining race, and you've put together a fabulous season. In fact, we're looking at the points on screen now. No, these are the points. These are the points.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that means you are the runner-up, 147 points, 17 ahead of Sander Callis. So it is a Go team 1-2, and for your first full season, you've got to be happy with that, Patrick.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great season for the team. We had good setups for most of the races and good pace. Of course, P2 is, again, more than I deserve this season. Janos and Rowan were definitely faster, but missed some races or made bigger mistakes than me, so that's why I'm P2. But yeah, I'm definitely very happy with this. It was definitely much more than I expected from the season.
Well, I'm just saying this, Patrick, in pro, you had a habit of finishing P2 and then doing one better the following season. So if these trends continue, just putting it out there. But anyway, congratulations on the season as a whole. And of course, the Eoin McGorgy Cup. I'll make sure that Lego car, we'll sort something out through Bricklink or something.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to the car.
A unique little gift. David Eoin, any questions for Patrick?
I suppose kind of the same thing to you, Patrick. Fantastic season. Yeah, you definitely feel like you're ready to go for 2026.
I'm not sure yet. Yeah, we'll see after the winter break, just like Mark said.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say congratulations, Patrick, on a great season and cracking your first Formula SimRacing World Championship victory, which in itself is a fantastic achievement. But also, you've been a big help on the admin side, helping with the pro event, the stream, etc. So thank you very much from
and
the
doing the thumbnails
side
as well for YouTube.
So, yeah, thank you. I'm happy I had a chance to help, and I'm happy the season was a success after it almost didn't happen. So thank you as well, guys.
Anyway, thank you again, Patrick, and well done. So, shall we go to our driver team principal next, Mr. Cosmo Bushido, the man from Boston. Cosmo, are you there?
I'm here, Edward.
Congratulations then on the team's championship. Obviously, big news for Go Team. So it's a year where you win VEC as a driver. You get a top 6 in Suzuka a couple of weeks ago, and you win the FSR Teams Championship. So all in all, pretty good 2025 for you, I imagine, Cosmo.
Yeah, I'm so happy with how the team has performed. I think if you remember last year, we finished P11 in the teams championship. So
there weren't 11 teams this season, without wishing to criticize myself too much.
But so we went from last year in the teams championship to first this year. So it's we got the right guys. Thankfully, we signed Mark in the off season, and everyone's been working really well together. We have the guys in the background helping. And we just gelled as a team. So I'm very proud of everybody. Patrick with his win this year was amazing. It was super emotional, and we put a lot of effort into this, and I'm really proud of everybody. They've done so well.
I couldn't concur more with you, Cosmo. David Eoin, any questions for our new team's champion manager?
I just wanted to say congratulations, and I wanted to ask you how you do it one day, but well done.
Usually,
thank you.
He may be an owner driver like you, David, but he also has teammates, which sometimes happens.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, congrats, Cosmo. It's like you say, it's such a big turnaround from last season, and it couldn't have happened to a nicer manager. And we always appreciate your support. So best of luck for 2026, whatever you choose to do. We hope we see more of you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
And finally, well, we kept him waiting. Sorry, we kept him waiting long enough. It took, I think, a good 7 years but he's finally done it. Janos Braksuk, you are a Formula Sim Racing World Championship winner. I did say it would happen if you kept at it, and it's happened right at the end of the season, but you were absolutely superb today. Pole by the narrowest of narrow margins, and then on a free, was it 4-stop strategy in it? I think it was. Oh, no, it was free. It was free.
3-stopper.
Sorry, I've lost track. It was Reuven that did the 4-stop. But nonetheless, an incredibly aggressive strategy, and you had to make the move at the end on Mark. And in the end, you did it, and the win was yours by a good 2 or 3 seconds in the end. So, obviously, very emotional moment for you after so many attempts at trying to do this, and very, very well earned. I just have to say, congratulations. How do you feel, Janos?
Yeah, goosebumps. Unbelievable and very bizarre after so many years when I've started in 2019 where I was not really experienced, but at the end I also want to thank my former teams like Go Speed Racing team and want to dedicate this win for my former team as well, Arnash Competition, who just supported me for Le Mans Virtual back then 2012, 2020. Help me, please.
2022, you think you might be
Yep,
thinking of?
yep, indeed, yeah. So they provided me with the best equipment to race with those big dogs in sim racing. I did almost 2,000 laps for this round, which is also bizarre again. But I knew that if I take the pole, I will push as much as I can. And I had a lot of luck, basically, for the whole race. No traffic at all. Some minor driving mistakes there and there, but yeah.
It's okay. We didn't see any of them on stream.
I saw the delta because I was again a bit surprised about Mark that I knew probably at the half of the race that he would do the two-stopper. So I just kept going and stick to my original plan on three-stopper no matter what, and luckily it succeeded. And Mark is the number one, so no surprise that he just made my win more difficult than I expected. So congratulations to him, of course, and all of you guys. Season it was very good, I guess.
You will be delighted to know that the Hungarian-speaking community that supports FSR went absolutely crazy when you won. Well, almost as crazy as they did when Nandor finished in the top 10 as well. But also, the people have been complaining about the graphic on screen because it's you and Sander tied on 130 points. But with that win, obviously, you've got a better top result than him. So it should be you ahead on the tiebreaker, but we haven't been able to get it to do that. So I apologise to all the Janos Braksuk fans out there. But to confirm, you pretty much officially, before penalties, if anyone has reported anything, that's you in P3. Considering you had 3 non-scores and started in round 3 of this season, that's an incredible comeback.
Absolutely, I'm very pleased with my season as well. I didn't have enough time at the early stages. That's why I missed the 2 rounds. But it is what it is. My pace was really consistent the whole season. Singapore, I mentioned before that I didn't do the testing, and also I would like to mention Istvan Singal. Of course, congratulations to him for the Pro Championship, and we will celebrate at his house next Saturday, I guess.
Oh, fantastic!
This is the call out. I guess we should do FSR
indeed.
Day at Istvan Singal's house. That would be amazing.
Hey, does this mean that we get to race at Hungary in 2026?
It could do. It depends what people want. Anyway, maybe we just let all the race winners pick a track. I don't know, but anyway, let's.
Can I just say to Janos, congratulations. I mean, you pushed it so hard on several occasions, and today you didn't just win it, you absolutely were majestic. Your pace was incredible, your strategy was good, and it was very, very exciting for us. We were on the edge of our seat when you returned from your pit stop 9 seconds behind Mark and had to catch him and pass him and beat him. That was just absolute box office. So well done on the win, but well done on doing it in such a dramatic style with such fast driving and such, inspired strategy. So we're all cheering for you as well, Janos, to pull off this first win in Formula Sim racing. So inspiring stuff. Well done.
Thank you, David. Yeah. I was really annoyed when I got back from the pit and saw that 8 and 9 second gap. But yeah, Istvan was there on the voice and helped me a lot. And he was just said that just push and concentrate on my pace. And yeah, luckily it worked out. Yeah.
It was exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Good race.
Yeah, again, I just have to say the exact same thing, Janos. I've only been here a few months compared to the broadcast colleagues of mine, so I haven't followed your stories closely. But even so, I know how close you've been to get the victory, and you've been denied previously. But today, well done. It was finally your time, and you made the most of it. So very much congratulations to you, Janos. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I think I do owe Janos a small apology because since 2019 is 6 years, not 7. Well, not yet anyway, but it will be in January 1st.
Yeah.
But he's got the win now, so he's beat that deadline. But nonetheless, I echo exactly what everyone said. Janos, congratulations! You you deserved it for a long, long time, and I'm so glad that that victory is finally yours. And I really hope we see you back next season if you're so inclined to give it another go, because we've loved having you, and it really raises everybody's game having drivers like Janos Braxuk, Mark Schluter, Patrick Hanko. I could go on, but to have 5 different winners this season, it really shows we've got a lot of stars in the making, and stars as in people who've always been stars. And I think you're definitely in both categories, I guess. So we'll go with that. But thank you very much for coming to talk to us, because I know it was obviously a big emotional moment for you. And yeah, I think we will let you go and celebrate it now.
Yeah, indeed. And looks like I'm in for next year.
Oh, awesome.
Amazing. Fantastic news. Oh, and Janos, one other little favor. Please come and do at least one weekend of the Winter Series, because we need to have some Formula Sim Racing World Championship winners on track in the Winter Series from time to time.
Okay, David. I'll try.
But you're not allowed to do 2,000 laps to practice. That's just unfair.
All right. No practice for me.
Don't remember you writing that in the rules, David. But
Good deal.
No practice, just start the game and drive. Yeah.
Well, not got much more to say. Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Janos, and all Cosmo, Mark, and Patrick from Go Team. It's been lovely having all of you all the season. And yeah, thanks for your time. And congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Right. So that's it. That's your lot. But just a reminder, as David consistently and very rightly has mentioned, the Winter Series is coming. 4th of January should be the first race. So we are just getting the calendar ready for that. But everybody's voted on what cars and tracks specifically they want to use from the the short list we gave them. So that's going to be a lot of good fun. And yeah, definitely looking forward to being involved in that. I think, is there something wrong, Amir? Oh, okay. Well, don't worry. We should probably go off air and we can show the graphic some other time. But anyway, sorry, this is a bit awkward. This is not great television. But nonetheless, thanks to everybody at home. We should thank everybody that's been involved this season, be it as a driver, a team owner, a broadcaster, a commentator. And on that note, thanks very much to Eoin and David. I know Owen's a lead commentator, so I'm sort of stealing the outro ever so slightly from him. A big thanks to everybody who's watched this season, and of course to our sponsors and partners, not least the Sim Racers Performance Guide, which is David O'Reilly's, of course. And thank you very much to David. And of course, Grid Finder, who've been brilliant partners all season long. And we've really benefited from being on their platform. And be sure to check out the description if you want to check out our page on Grid Finder, or just Grid Finder in general, because they're a great bunch of people. And yeah, we've really loved every minute we spent with them. So I think from me, the first year of FSR president is officially over from this moment. But there's no time to relax because that winter series is coming. So once more, congratulations to Janos Braxuk for breaking his duct. Congratulations to Mark Schluter and CMT Go Team Racing for being the 2025 World Champions. I've been Edward Hunter, your FSR. I was going to say world president, but really just president.
Dream on.
Yeah, all right. I think I'm trying to displace a lot of real life organizations there, so maybe I should nip this in the bud before I offend anyone. So thank you very much for sticking with us, and tune into 2026 for the Winter Series and, of course, the 2026 FSR World Championship to see who's coming back, who knew we're going to bring in to challenge the likes of Mark Schluter and Go Team, who I'm sure you'll all agree are very, very worthy champions. Good night.